play the campaign, see what's going on in Hope, and see what's going on in a random beach somewhere off the coast of the White Sea, and we lost Molly.
I mean, I do. I definitely do.
Yeah,
I do as well.
I'm down to figure out what's going on with Lee. That's very curious to me.
It is extremely curious. I got no idea what's going on out there, and that's not good because I'm supposed to know that stuff. Anyway, so
Ah, shit.
where would you all like to start? Would you like to start with Lee, or would you like to Lee and Tilden and a goat on a beach, or would you like to start in Hope, where presumably someone's about to be, murked?
It just doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, can she at least hear?
Hell, it seems like mic trouble's contagious today.
I wish I had a cough button, you guys. I apologize.
If you had a what?
A cough button.
Oh. Well, I mean, you can just get a sound synthesizer to make a cough sound effect, if that helps.
Yeah, I mean a button to press while I cough, because I've been coughing and sneezing a lot lately because of allergies.
Ah, okay. Allergies. Right.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I would never know if I had coronavirus because I have allergies like 9 months out of the year.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of horrifying.
Corona, you wouldn't have like the itchiness of your face if that's the kind of allergy you have.
My eyes always itch and my scalp always itches. There's any dry
Well,
weather.
you just say that you have allergies 90% of the time anyway, so.
Yeah.
So that's probably from the allergy and how you should. Because corona is, what is it? Dry coughing, hard to breathe, a couple of other symptoms.
Well, it's
Like
always
craving for lime.
I don't have a fever.
Has anybody
I don't really get a fever.
has anybody else seen that tweet from that like really really overweight redneck dude that's like, if I get the coronavirus, I'm gonna walk around in the woods till I get the Lyme virus, because you know you can't have a corona without a Lyme. Woo!
Yeah, too many of us already have Lyme disease, though.
Like,
Way too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
Anyway,
God.
so you guys want to start off on a beach, or you want to start off in Hope?
Start off with me.
Well, it's not going to be a sexy beach episode, though.
I don't know. You got Philbin dripping wet.
Yeah, and in a Speedo.
Mm-hmm. Well, sort of.
Soon to be. What?
Okay, sorry, I gotta figure out this audio level shit real quick. This should only take me a second. Sorry, this isn't my usual mic, so it's just
fine.
it's gonna be ear bursting in the recording if I don't. Okay,
Yeah,
that should be good.
It is a little louder than normal. Yeah.
Yeah, apologies.
It's fine.
Molly, why don't you take a second to, try to restart or something? Restart your phone or something. Maybe that'll help. Maybe she already did.
Ah.
I decreased my volume a little bit. Now I just need to make sure that it's still picking up my voice when I speak all the time, which is why I'm currently rambling, because I'm doing the green bar thing.
Okay.
We heard you for a second, a few minutes ago, Mollymore, but it's not coming in now at all.
Well, it seems to work on your phone.
Well. Anyway.
No, but we don't hear you.
Either way, Lee, you find yourself on a beach, and it's kind of make noise, Mollymort. Yeah, you're lighting up now.
Nice.
Well,
I don't
lighting
hear her,
up,
though.
but yeah, she's not making any noise.
Uh,
Does she usually use her phone, Lee?
yeah, I think so.
Okay. Because if not, I know that my Bluetooth headphones a while ago when I set it up with a different one, I used it for calling and it messed up a microphone, so I had to reset it to I think, not using call function or something like that, or the other way around.
Oh, okay. Hey, I heard you.
Hey,
There it is.
there was noise.
There's a.
Oh, I
Heard it
was
briefly.
just so hoping that I had it fixed on my computer.
Oh, okay. We hear you now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on my phone now.
Sorry. Maybe you can get it worked out on your computer while and switch over like I did. I don't know.
I doubt it because I thought I had this issue solved, and apparently not, so I don't know what else to do other than just restart Discord, reinstall it. I don't know. I already did all that, but
Discord can be kind of naughty. It's been being pretty bad lately. I don't know why. There's been a lot of bugs with like the streaming and stuff.
Yeah. But hopefully all is settled, at least temporarily. Anyway, Lee, you have found yourself on a beach. You walk through the portal given to you by Arata, and you find yourself in exactly the moment that you had left it, and you get there just in time, if you want to stop Philvin from falling and having the goat laugh at him. But you could just let it happen, because, fate is fate. What would you like to do in that situation?
Um, who am I to intervene in fate?
Indeed. You see Philbin attempt to try to pick himself up, fall flat down into the sand, getting sand all in his beard, on his glasses, and everywhere. And the goat is just pointing a hoof, kind of laughing a bit. But you all are on this beach. You don't know where you are. You got a rough idea of what you're here for. And, yeah. What do you want to do? Looks like it's quiet.
First thing Lee's gonna do is gonna take a quick sketch of what just happened with Philbin and the goat, to be commissioned as a stained glass painting later on.
Indeed. You take a moment to commit it to memory, and you're able to focus as you look around. The sun rising, nicely over the water, illuminating everything. You can see a town beyond. You can see small boats going out of their tasks of the day.
I was gonna ask, what kind of beach is it? What kind of beach are we looking at? Like white sand, rough sand, or like kind of the fine sand? Does it look like a tropical beach?
It doesn't look tropical, no. It does seem to be a kind of somewhat fine sand. And you notice too that grasses come quite close and the hills come up. This doesn't seem to be any sort of manicured, not a domesticated beach. There's likely not a lot of visitors, but it is a sort of natural sand dune-ish kind
Okay,
of
so
beach.
it's more duney and less like rocky.
Yeah, I mean there are certainly rocky elements. I want to get you away from that, but it is most definitely sandy as well. But it's a coarse sand, and fairly salty if you're gonna go that far.
Is there anybody at the beach? Like, are there like people like coming to like visit it or to do work at it or whatever?
You look around. You can't see anybody immediately here, but from where you are, as I said, you can see some boats sort of trailing out into the harbor, but you can't really see a lot of the town proper. You think if you kind of go up the sort of encrestment, or that's probably not even a word, but you think if you go up the embanked sand and kind of go into the weeds there a bit, that you will probably be able to see more of the town proper. You were able to see some of the lights as you were coming in and swimming into shore, but you didn't swim to the docks. You just went to the closest point, which was not quite a barrier island, but a bit of a finger of a peninsula that seems to help form a kind of caldera-shaped esque kind of harbor.
Okay. All right. I think I have a pretty good visual on it. There's no cooler full of like Corona Light or anything.
No, unfortunately not. Only Bud Light.
Oh, well, okay. I'll know to look out. I'll know to be wary of the rednecks.
Uh-huh.
Our
Yeah.
frat boys.
That's true. Yeah. Although your goat did just make some PBR on the beach. So it won a blue ribbon. Anyway, so yeah, you find yourself on this beach as the sun starts to rise a bit more. You know, the entire world is orange essentially on the water. It looks to be on fire. Not literally, but in a nice way. And give it enough time, the water does appear to be a clear crystal blue, which is a very stark contrast to the almost opaque, muddy sea that you grew up next to. And it's actually fairly beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that. I also didn't know that Bacata had a muddy sea.
Well, the sea that it is on is named the Muddy Sea. So,
Oh, okay.
and this is the White Sea.
Oh, I like the White Sea.
It's
Having
nice.
a map might help with that.
The what?
Having a map might help us with that.
With it being muddy or it being clear.
With
I
us
think-
knowing where the seas are.
I think she's throwing shade.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I've been very clear in my descriptions. It's the Muddy Sea and this. Okay, fine. You guys can draw your own map.
I'm not good at building this kind of stuff in my head. I'm not good at building maps and building scenes.
And I'm not good at drawing maps. But yeah, I will keep saying I'll continue to make an effort of it. But yeah, I will continue to commit to make an effort, and we'll see if that ever happens.
Okay.
But at some point, I will probably show it. But it just, I don't know. It's okay.
In my defense, I have a hard time remembering auxiliary places that are like around major places.
Mhm.
You know, just because like they're not mentioned as much, and where they are in correlation to other things. So I just didn't realize that Bacata was on the Muddy Sea.
That's fine. That's fine. But yeah, essentially to describe sort of the relation and geography to Bacata. Bacata is on the western bank, about halfway along the Muddy Sea, which is a relatively narrow, long sea. And the end of the sea used to come to nothing, but now comes to the town of Bourbonville and a canal that connects it to the White Sea, recently built by the Morningstar Corporation.
Okay, does that mean that Bourbonville is to the north of us?
The north of where you are now,
Okay,
but is south of Bacata, direct south.
okay.
So
For some
what?
reason,
Oh, go on.
I'm sorry. I for some reason I was thinking Bacata was on the high north, not the west.
Well, it is in the north. Like it's the north of everything else, but it's on the west coast of the Muddy Sea.
Okay.
Again, I should draw this at some point. But there's a road network that would come around this sort of edge of the White Sea, or it would go to a particular city that's off of the White Sea, and then it would go on the long road north to Bacata. That's how Bacata got a lot of its trade, just by road, which is a big one of those things. Is, you know, the canal will be quite a boon to Bacata. It'll be beneficial. It'll be all kinds of plus good things. But anyway, but to the very far north, as I said, is sort of Bacata, about halfway up the White Sea. There's not much of anything past that. And if you go from Bacata and you go south all the way down, past where Verbanville is, all the way down, you get to Morganland. Morganland is essentially the very southern end of the long road. It used to be that ships would come off the White Sea and go to Morganland, and then, or Morganland or whatever, and then go all the way north to Verbanville by carriage and such.
Now, is it okay that I don't know what Morganland is? Because I don't feel like we've mentioned that much before.
Yeah, y'all have just kind of skirted it. You never actually went to it.
Okay.
But
Is this where Morgan and Morgan is from?
it is entirely possible that Morgan and Morgan is from Morganland.
Ooh,
Yeah.
what
Morgan
if
and Morgan are the Morganland Morgans.
Yeah, what if he's a destitute, like, royal of their...
Almost certainly. Yeah, he
Yeah.
probably is. I'll actually add that to his
Prince.
file. He's Morgan and Morgan of the Morganland Morgans.
Oh, so maybe he's like a banished prince, because every D&D game needs one of those at least.
But definitely, yes. Well, this game has several. You've only just met a few of them.
Well,
So
there's Orin and Morgan, and who else? Oh yeah, Real.
real, yeah.
Okay, so that's 3.
Yeah. Well, anyway, like I said, there are a few.
Nice.
Let's see, Willie Watkins. No, that's where's Morgan and Morgan. Anyway, so, but yes, you are on this this town. You don't know where it is. I mean, you have no idea. It's somewhere on the coast of the White Sea, and here you are.
Hell yeah. I help Philbin clean up before heading into town.
All right. Philbin takes a few moments to try and dust himself off as best as possible and dry himself a bit, and then starts to do Tai Chi on the beach. He gets into, sitting dragon and gets all the various positions. Creaks in the bones.
Lee will try to join him, but he doesn't know Tai Chi and is very uncertain about what he's doing, so he's just kind of like looking over at Philbin and then trying to mimic what he's doing.
I mean, it's basically what Tai Chi is.
Yeah, basically.
But
I mean, there's a lot of it's just about form and all that, but yeah, it doesn't. He just sort of enjoys the moment a bit, and then just essentially turns to you and says, "All right, what are we looking for again?"
Oh, a giant net. Or a magic net? A net.
Who's the net?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, he essentially looks around and motions, and he's just looking at you, confused.
Lee
Okay,
looks at
I guess
Philbin,
we're
confused.
going to look for fishermen.
Well, yeah. This is where Great Claw was donated from,
He
and
nods.
I have a hunch that Great Claw and the net could be related.
He says that's a fair assumption. I think the town was more that way, and he kind of points, judging from the direction of the sun, sort of in a northern direction. So we should just be able to walk along the beach and find some docks someplace.
All right. Well, let's walk down the beach.
All right. So he just instinctively offers to grab your hand so that you all can skip
no, Lee
down
definitely grabs his hand.
Okay, great. So y'all just skip down the beach hand in hand. Goat following along. Hmm?
Can I buy him cotton candy?
Unfortunately, there's nowhere to buy cotton candy. No,
That's okay. I just get a big thing of wool off of Tooth Gnasher or Tooth Gnasher, and I put it on the end of a tiny hammer and I hand it to Philbin. And I'm like, I don't know why I'm doing this, but it just feels appropriate.
He absolutely does not eat it as you skip your way to town.
But he feels a strange urge to eat it, though, right?
Not even a little bit. No,
Thank God.
he knows much better than that. So, Theon, Mollymort, Ormus, you are within the basement of the City of Hope, and you have the heart there at the sort of emergency bunker, the heart of Team, or excuse me, not of Team, of Bahamut, and also you have Irini there, and a necromancer, and some weird drow warlord guy who's
His
just
name is
constantly,
real.
yeah, his name is real, and he's just constantly staring at the bow that Theon has. Yes, his name is real, but he is weird. So, what would you all like to do?
Um,
Zilra's still here, right?
Zilra?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's still there. She's looking at the heart. She had used your pendant to look at it, and she's just kind
So you see that it's the heart of Bahamut, right?
of. She says that she can't tell whose heart it is, but it does seem to be some sort of magical, sort of rock heart thing. She's making all kinds of like gestures with her hands. Looks like she's trying to make measurements by holding them really close to her eye and kind of getting some idea of something.
Do you think that you could work with this, to bring back to Bahamut?
She says that she can turn this stone into flesh, but a fleshy heart does not a dragon make. She says that if she has more of the body, that might help, or she could make more of the body, because
If
she doesn't really need any of this stuff. She just needs stone.
if you could make more of the body, I think that would be good. I mean, we need a dragon.
Yeah, she says that's her specialty. She can make just about anything alive.
Yeah, let's
Awesome.
not make an undead Bahamut. That's risky.
Didn't he say he would be okay with? Well, he said he would be okay with it being a necromancer because I did want to get his permission on that before we go doing that. But he didn't really say anything about it being an undead body. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
like,
So there's always the sort of material components, the living flesh, and then there's the soul elements. And she can make the living parts, but not so much the soul parts.
Oh yeah, we got the soul part.
Mm-hmm.
well, I feel like we need to ask Bahamut if, how much of his body he needs. Because this is the main. If we have confirmed with you, and Fiel nods to the necromancer, that you can indeed turn this back to flesh. Bahamut is Bahamut. You might be able to work with that and heal himself from there. But I have a feeling that we're going to need more than just the heart, anyways. So
Yeah, it's a fair assumption that he would want at least most of his body,
yeah,
if not all of it.
At least enough for him to live, I'd guess.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. And that's always one of those things, too, is depending on the spells, of course. Certain spells, you can't just touch a body part. Other spells, you don't need a body at all. But, things have not worked out too well from what he's already tried. But it could be because it wasn't flesh, it was just stone. But maybe that isn't the problem.
Yeah, that's why I feel we need to discuss with him. Why am I talking in character? That's why I feel like we need to discuss with him the specifics of how much his body needs, the specific spells that we should try, all that kind of stuff. Which I know we've had a general discussion of it before, but you know.
So, you want to go talk to Bahamut then, or what?
And that's what Field wants to do. Is he wants to take her to Bahamut, have her explain her plan, talk this specifics out with him.
Yeah, now that she knows what she's working with.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I just realized
Yes.
Arata ruined you guys' plans to assassinate the king because he basically, instead of putting you back to where you were, he was just very subtly put you somewhere else.
No, he didn't ruin it.
He didn't really ruin it. He just, he cut to the chase.
Minor inconvenience.
I got you. But it kind of seemed like that thing that like people do with like puppies, where a puppy's getting into something and they just kind of pick it up and put it another direction, and the puppy just kind of goes in that direction.
Yeah.
It just seems like a very errata thing to do. I'm sorry, I'll stop.
No,
I really
that was a
wish
good
we had
point,
a way
actually.
to contact him.
I know, right?
Headphones are down.
Legit, I was thinking my favor is gonna be to ask for that, but then I thought about it for a second and I was like, there's no way he's gonna grant us that.
Yeah, I think I asked him if there was a way, and he basically said, no, can't do it.
We understand, Ormus, and we apologize again for not preparing.
What's wrong?
His headphones are dying. But yeah, you still don't have a way of contacting him. But yeah. Anyway, so you want to go talk to Bahamut, who is occupying a woman named Mika, or a dragonborn named Mika, or would you like to do anything else in particular?
I think Theon will actually even lean in towards Ormus and whisper to him I feel like this is really close and we need to see this through because we're pretty close. I feel like this is as close as we've been. And let's put off the other little project for the time being.
Alright. Ormus being especially quiet in his contemplated moments. So, what would you all like to do?
Let's head on back over to, it's still in Walter's old house, right? What's his name?
Waldo. Or
Waldo.
Walter. Wait,
Yeah,
Waldo.
Waldo.
Waldo. I was going to
There
say,
it
it's
is.
like Waldo doesn't sound. Waldo's old house, yes.
Yeah.
If you had named him Waldo, you would have made him find us among a crowd.
Never would have found him at all. Oh well. But
You kidding with your own perception?
eh,
I don't know. I have high perception, not eagle eyes.
That's true.
yeah. So you make your way out past the non-royal residence side of this bunker, and easily slip into the morning streets, and are able to go back to the home of Irini, also with her roommate slash employer slash benefactor, a red dragonborn named Mika, currently occupied by the soul of Bahamut. And she's, as usual, just in a rocking chair, just rocking back and forth, looking out the window.
So we have some specifics, and we'd like to discuss them with you to see how far we can get with, how much effort. Try and maximize our, time and effort, and we've shown our friend here your, heart, and we'd like to discuss that with you because now she knows what she can do with it. So if that makes sense to you.
She looks over at the necromancer, and the necromancer nods and says, "Yes, yes, I can turn your heart of stone into flesh." And the look on Mika's face is not one of being impressed, but she looks to you all and says, "Will this be sufficient?"
Well,
Not
that's
entirely.
part of the question. We were wondering, like, if well, I had a specific wonder of if how much your body you need because she can turn stone to flesh, so we could create you a new body theoretically. But how much of it do you need to, to where you could regenerate a bit yourself off of your own magic, if that's even possible? These are questions I had.
She raises her hand and looks at her palms, and she says, "I have not been in my body for thousands of years, and the last bit of magic I attempted to use failed me." She sighs and looks at you, Fion, and says, I have not a very solid idea of what I'm capable of here. I don't know how much of my body I will need, because nothing I've done so far has worked."
Okay.
And she says, "I would rather have as much as possible. That might give us the best chance, but if this is all we can manage, then it's all we can manage."
Um. Well, that brings up the next question. How large of a body do you think you'd need? Because if you can't like revert to your original form using the new body, that's a problem, you know.
Yeah, she says that a body is it might be very important to have as strong a body as possible.
Okay.
And you can hear, or rather, not hear, but um, nope, wrong file. Sorry. Zora uh, basically holds up a hand, a bit of a shaky hand, and says, "Just so everyone knows, when I make it into flesh, it's not really muscle. It's just kind of a
A mound
gooey,
of yeah.
gooey structure." Yeah, she says it's not really strong, but you can use it to make other things into organics. She says it's not really a body per se, more like a really sticky ooze, and
Like a
Okay.
hamburger.
kind
I
of
have
a
a question.
uh-huh. You can see she's trying to search for the words, but go
Can
on.
we can we find a local statue or something and give this a little test run?
She says, "Oh yes, yes, yes. I'm really good with statues," and she nods.
Well, I
Yeah,
don't
so
think we should do it with like a local statue. Like I'm sure I could like, find a stone and carve it away a bit, and we could test run it on that if we need to test run it. But a local statue might be a bit much for the time being.
all right,
She
well I
nods.
just figured that would be easier to get a clear idea of what we're working with here.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that would be pretty darn cool.
She nods and says, "Yes, let's do that."
So I do have one more question for you, uh, our necromancer friend that I can't remember her name of because I don't have my notes notebook.
Zildura.
Zilra, I do have a question for you, Zilra. If when you do this, it converts, it just makes it into kind of a for lack of a better word, an ooze type thing. How do you create the things that you do without
She
from that?
um, she talks to Real a moment in Undercommon, and trying to basically get the right word. And he says, pudding. And she goes, pudding, yes. I can turn his heart to pudding. I can turn them to pudding of a sort. And from that, we can use it as a bonding agent to combine other types of creatures or make it animated in and of itself. It's capable of doing a lot of things. It's just not especially attractive, but it's entirely doable. And with enough effort and work, you can get quite a good amount of things from it.
Well, I guess I should state my question as to make a humanoid body, which I feel like would be the basic part. That's as low as we can go for this particular endeavor. The bones, the framework of it. How does that happen? Because, creating stuff from other creatures using it is kind of a generalized thing.
She says, usually we use bones for.
Like actual
She nods.
bones from things. Okay.
Yeah.
There is skeletons out there somewhere.
Yeah, so you can take a skeleton and then take this material and apply it to it and then continue to animate it, and then eventually you can use it as a kind of. And she speaks to Real again, and he responds back, clay, like clay. And she nods, yes, clay. You can use it like clay and sculpt more forms from it.
I mean, we planned on taking the heart to the body anyway.
Yeah, that is fair. I just.
Yeah, this isn't entirely probably what I imagine that in Theon's mind he was. Well, yeah, we'll just do this, and then it turns into a body part. Oh no, apparently it's a little messier.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know, guys. I'm just here to tell you what kind of components we have.
You're skipping along a beach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, right now I'm playing Navi the Sprite.
Indeed. Listen, but yeah, she says that she can absolutely make it living again, and that's the biggest part. Is that it'll be alive. If it's a question of whether or not it's living flesh or dead flesh, it'll be living actual flesh.
That's kind of what we need.
Yeah, that sounds good enough to me.
Well,
We get the body, we get the heart, we make some weird goo.
Yeah.
We try to involve a cleric somehow in all of this mess.
I just
And
worry.
then you'll have a Bahamut in a pudding body.
Yeah, I just worry since we don't know how much magic Bahamut has, or what extent he has to use it in, what he could do. I mean, do you think you could work with a pudding body? I know you just said you don't really know the extent of what you could do, but.
Okay. Quick question. If we
Sure.
make the pudding body with the pudding heart, will the pudding heart still have magic? And once we put Bahamut's soul into the pudding body, will he then have the magic that's in the pudding?
Zora says, I've never actually done this to a magical stone. It's entirely possible that it'll get rid of that enchantment, whatever it is.
Yeah. Also, I know these magics don't mesh well, but it might not be a bad idea to have your other, healers / whatever weighing in on this. Because I know these magics may not necessarily mesh well, but it's possible they could work something out together. Cleric, druid. Yeah, Orin, Molly might have some insight into this.
Well, Mollymort, you know that you had spoken a little bit with the sort of chief priestess of your order, Daisy, and she essentially made clear that moving souls, from place to place and bringing recently dead flesh back to life is a trivial thing. Um, it's not difficult, at least for her. So that's potentially something that could be useful.
Yeah, but that's recently dead flesh.
Well,
Or still living, potentially.
yeah, because she's gonna make it technically living flesh, so this might not be what she intended, but it's me, Navi, Navi, TT. Instead of Navi, it's a tiny floating goat.
Hmm.
So Aladrin punched the I turn away from Bahamut and try to whisper this to you guys. Um,
Hmm.
so when Aladrin punched the heart, he accidentally, or well, he pretty much intentionally took a chunk out of it. Did
You
anyone
hear
happen?
a what from Mika?
Did anyone happen to notice if the stuff that broke off was still magical at all?
I know I had detect magic out. Did I? Well, I
You
used it
have,
after. I
yeah,
used it immediately after it broke off, but
and you could see that the section that broke was no longer magical.
Yeah, but I'm saying the stuff, the 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 shards that came off, not where we, you know, took a chunk out and fixed it as best as we could. But like the part that actually came out, did that keep the magic, or did it lose the magic after it broke off?
It seemed to lose the magic when it broke away from whatever the whole of the heart was, or the
Okay.
majority at least. Ormus says, well, what about shrinking the heart down, doing stone to flesh, then use mend to put the heart in a dead body that doesn't have a heart, and then put the soul in that body?
that's a.
Basically, putting that, that could be used to get him in a body permanently, even if it's not a dragon body or his body.
Um, one issue with that, I think if we shrink things, usually they don't stay shrunk if we shrink them magically.
That would have been hilarious.
Yeah,
Not to
that's.
mention the whole
It's all
idea.
fine. Everything's great. 1 hour later.
Yeah.
Honestly, the whole idea is to get him into a dragon body, preferably his own body.
Yeah, he currently has Mika's body, and that's doing fine and dandy. He has a body currently, but he needs a dragon body to fight.
Arini says that there are several dragons in Hope, and I'm sure any of them would happily sacrifice their body to give life to Bahamut again.
Well,
Maybe.
I mean, they'd be dragons. Then you'd have a dragon body, but it wouldn't be. Frankly, I don't think any of them would be strong enough to take on Tiamat on their own, even if they did have Bahamut's soul in.
Uh,
It's true, because that's a question of where's the strength come from? Is it in the body or in the soul or some combination of the two? Tough to tell.
I don't know. I don't know if this weird pudding thing is going to work, but I think it's worth a shot.
Armus brings up another point, but if he has a heart of some heart, even if it's not his own body, he could polymorph or change himself, because dragons could do that, into his own original self. So even if he isn't himself, he can be himself in form.
That is fair, but we don't know how transforming with transformation magic would work, anyways. Like, it's like the main thing is we don't know the extent of what Bahamut can do right now.
Hmm. Yeah, if only you had some way to transform something permanently, that could help too.
Permanently. I
Yeah.
mean, we have some stuff that could do that, but like, most of what I can think of is not really a surefire far away, especially to get what we want out of it. Like if we use something like reincarnation, it's not like we can be like, "Hey, we're gonna make this dragon." And I don't even think a spell like that would even apply to this situation. I mean, I'm pretty sure it says something along like 10 days.
Does anybody here know True Polymorph?
Nope.
Oh, well,
Does Oramus even know what true polymorph is?
It's an extremely high level spell. Druids
It's
shapeshift.
as high level as it can get.
I mean,
so
Druids get shapeshift, so Molly could theoretically have it someday. Start killing rats, Molly. Grind up those levels.
I'm not gonna kill the rats.
whole
Do
bunch
it. Do it for
of rats.
Bahamut.
I don't want
It's a. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not really here. I can't tell you what to do.
If you all were together, from what you know of true polymorph, if such a thing exists, you know that it would take an incredibly high level wizard to be able to cast it, because it is amongst the most powerful spells in existence.
Starting to
Along
wish
with
I
this-
asked for a different favor.
We could. Oh, we still have the time to seek out that wishing well.
Or you could wish for the spell to be cast,
Mm-hmm.
We could do that.
because wish can be used to cast any spell, essentially, without components. So if you were able to make a wish, you could have that cast.
Would True Polymorph be able to turn him into, if we put him in a human body, be able to turn him into a dragon god?
It wouldn't necessarily make him a god, but it might give him a body. And if his soul makes him the god, then you might be able to finally combine body and soul, or fully incorporate the body from bones and non-living tissue and living tissue to a form that his soul can be moved into. By combining all of these things in with true polymorph or something akin to it. So, it's a thought. Or you could just blow it and make an object 25,000 gold pieces in value, and then just walk away with a profit.
But for how long, though?
$25,000 or 25,000 gold pieces of dragon poison. It'll get her eventually. Just start spraying it everywhere. But anyway, you know that with true polymorph, you could turn an object into a creature. You could take these creatures and turn them into other creatures. You could essentially take a combination of living and dead tissue and solidify it into an actual body. But without an extremely powerful wizard, you could use a wish spell, and then it would just be a matter of moving a soul from nothing into a body, which, a cleric that can do just that.
I don't suppose we could ask Errata for a true polymorph scroll.
You could, next time you see him, if you want.
And that is true, Ormus. That would solve pretty much most of our problem.
Yes, make that wish. I'm sure nothing terrible could go wrong.
Yeah, that seems like one of those things where it's like the timeline wouldn't allow it to truly happen, you know?
Well, the notorious example is wishing for the big bad evil guy to be dead, and then time goes forward a couple hundred years to when he's died of old age, and everything is so much worse because of hundreds of years of him being in power. and everyone they knew was dead. There you go. You now live in a world without your evil person.
I mean, some of us would live long enough for that, at least.
Not me.
Tiamat's potentially millions of years old. You really want to wait until she dies of natural causes? So, but yeah, that's one workable plan. You could get a little bit more remains, get a whole bunch of stone, make it into flesh, put the whole thing in a crock pot, cast a wish, and put it all together, and you got yourself a body and a soul, and ta-da, a living Bahamut, hopefully.
A mostly living Muhammad, at least.
It's entirely possible it will be an entirely living and fully powered, fully operational, as they say, battle dragon. But for now, you stand in the guest bedroom of Arini before a very frustrated Mika, who is saying again, "Are you even listening to me? What did Aladrin do to my heart?"
He punched it. He punched it, right? Or did he, he did a bit of damage to it.
There's a face palm.
In his defense, we got a lot of information from that little sliver taken out of
She says, Can you just prevent him from doing it again in the future? I suspect it did not help.
We have agreed upon no more Dragonheart punches, unless they're Tiamat's.
Yes. Yes, that would be an acceptable Dragonheart punch. She nods. I was about to go back to Lee, but he seems to be having incommunicado. So, what would you all like to do? We can come back to it. Lee seems to have returned.
Sorry, I just needed to check on something for just like a second.
It's fine. You find yourself looking down at a relatively small town. Seems like a sort of fishing village built mostly of, looks like a kind of, it's not red, but it's a sort of slightly redded, tinted clay sort of stucco buildings. You can see, oddly enough, there's like sails on the roofs of some of them. They seem to be like water catching, maybe, or some kind of sun protection. You're not quite sure, but it is getting quite a bit warmer here. It's quite nice. But anyway, here you are. You have a town. What would you like to do?
I guess I'd like to head into town with Philbin and see if there's anybody apparent that I could talk to.
All right. Philbin gets astride the flying broom. And do you ride your goat in or just walk with?
I think I'd probably just walk in.
Okay. You walk in, goat around behind the three of you, or four if you include the flying broom, make your way into this relatively small village. And everything seems, quiet. There's fishermen going out. As you come in, you can see essentially a couple of people setting up as a kind of market towards the docks. Seeing a stranger, especially one that is so armored, or in such a way.
Clink, 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 clink.
Exactly. They greet you and try to sell some of their wares. They've got fresh weavings and good fish, shellfish of 12 for a gold, etc. Which is not a very good deal.
Too?
Huh?
Is the goat armor too, or did we leave the barding somewhere?
If you put it on him, then he's still got it.
What? Just realized that if he's wearing armor, how would he have swum to shore?
He's an incredible swimmer.
Okay.
He
Well,
is
I
a
guess,
celestial goat.
Actually, I've got a girl goat with me right now, so she.
Oh,
I
yeah.
need to get my pronouns correct.
Mhm.
Do what for you?
I was just saying, she is a celestial goat.
That is true. She's naturally buoyant.
Mhm. And goats are known for their incredible swimming.
Uh, we've got a war half elf and a war goat coming into town with a wizard riding a giant lobster.
Yep, indeed.
Do
You
they
draw attention.
do they recognize the lobster?
They don't seem to recognize it in particular. They're not familiar with this particular style of plushie. But, they do acknowledge that there seems to be some sort of a strange dwarven fellow floating upon a lobster.
I say, hi everyone. Um, we're looking for a fisherman, and I know that uh doesn't doesn't narrow it down very much, but we're looking for a fisherman with a net. No, wait, hold on, let me think.
I just imagine Lee says fish like
with a net that can catch really, really big things.
You see a lot of people, pointing towards the dock. And you see a couple of people holding up their hand. I'm a fisherman. I have a net. I can catch big things.
Yeah, I was just imagining Lee says fisherman, and every male in the village, children included, look towards him.
Basically. Yeah.
All right, you that can catch big things, you come with me.
He, smiles a little bit and steps forward.
Does he have big old fish lifters?
Oh yeah. This guy, he can cord his own rope if you get my drift.
Oh. All right. I guess we'll head to the docks then.
All right. Do you start walking and expect him to follow, or do you follow him, or do you come with me and start heading to the docks?
I'll let him take the lead.
Do you tell him to go to the docks?
Yeah, I say, take me to the fisherman with the net that can catch big things.
Can I just ask for the name of the fisherman who caught Great Claw again?
So the exhibit said that Aiden Marsden donated Great Claw. I'll put the name in the chat. I know how you all are. So in the game feed, Aiden Marsden donated Great Claw. You don't know if he's the one that actually caught it, but that's the name that was on the exhibit.
He might know something at least. I had forgotten the name. That's why I was like trying to figure out what question to ask.
Yeah, I actually started writing down names, but now I can't. Can't find the notebook that I put. There it is.
I guess as we head to the dock, if Lee doesn't remember, then either Philbin can remind him, or the tiny flower that's sitting on Lee's shoulder can remind him.
All right, so you demand that he take you to a fisherman who can catch big fish.
Yes.
He says, "I am such a fisherman."
Oh. I guess I'll look at Philbin and be like, what's the fisherman's name again that we're looking for?
Let me see if he remembers. He looks at you and he said, "I thought you did all the reading."
Ah, crap. Lee pops open his little memo pad and is looking through it. Aiden Marsden?
He says, "Oh, Aiden Marsden. Sounds familiar. Oh yes, I know that fella. He lives out in an island," and he kind of points and he says, "If you go that way a couple of miles, then go south a bit, and I'm trying to think here. I can show you for a small fee."
Of course. That sounds wonderful, my big fish catching friend.
He nods and he says, "Yes, I could catch bigger fish, though. Much bigger than Aiden. But he takes you to a small boat. Not much more than a rowboat."
I guess I climb in.
All right. You climb in. Does your goat follow?
Does the goat climb in the tiny boat?
It can. It is cramped. It is, like I said, this is not much more than. I mean, this is practically just a canoe.
Roll for it.
Lee looks at the goat and then looks at the boat and then looks at the goat again, and is trying to figure out if he can make this work. Lee then gets out of the boat and makes the goat get in the boat, and then climbs on the lobster with Philbin, and then ties a rope around the lobster's neck to the boat and hovers behind it.
You climb on the lobster with Philbin.
Yeah.
As soon as you start to climb on it, the lobster just sinks open, and Philbin has to stand, and he says, "Lee, it can't hold both of us."
Ah, dang it! I thought it had before. Or no, wait, it wasn't. It was Molly and Philbin, which is actually possible. Okay.
Which
That
is
makes
possible.
sense.
Yeah,
How much?
we
Yeah, way too much.
exactly. We did the math, and it was like within 6 pounds or something with Molly Morton and Philbin.
Yeah, but I think they can only hold, what was it, 200 or 400 pounds?
400 pounds.
Either way, I'm wearing so much armor and equipment. There's no way in hell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lee
Well,
probably.
hang on. So its flying speed, its limit is 200 pounds. It can carry 400 pounds, but its flying speed is cut in half when it's over 200.
But its flying speed is 100, so it would be 50, so it would still be fast enough to keep up with a boat.
Hang on a second. Hang on. Well, it can't fly with over 400.
Okay, I know Lee weighs somewhere between 130 and 160. I think he weighs 165, I think we figured out.
Uh-huh.
With his armor?
No, that is not including his armor at all.
Yeah, I imagine Lee probably weighs close to 300, if not a little more, with his armor on.
With armor and all my weapons equipped, I think I'm pretty close to 300, or maybe even... Oh, I can do the math on it real quick.
And with Philbin, that'll put you over the 4.
Yeah.
If you leave your equipment, then you could go at half speed, which would easily keep up with the boat, because it would still be, 30 feet, which isn't bad.
Can I take off my armor and put it in the saddlebags on the goat that is filling up the boat with the fishermen?
Yeah, you can put your, it would probably be more than just your armor. Let me see how much the full plate is for the 5e. It's like 60 pounds or less than that.
And also, you're gonna stand there and take a few minutes to doff your armor.
Say
to
10 minutes.
Climb onto the lobster. Yeah, 10 minutes to doff your armor, to climb onto the lobster, to attach the lobster to either the goat or the boat.
To the boat.
Yeah, the plate weighs 65 pounds.
Okay, well I'm 165. The armor is 65, so that's 230, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got about 20 pounds of other stuff.
And
So
a
about
shield.
250. No, I'm everything else included, 250.
Well, everything else is more than 20 pounds.
Well, weapons, just the weapons and the shield is just 20 pounds.
Really?
Yeah.
Sure? What weapons do you have? I'm curious.
Well, if I'm carrying the warhammer and the shield, and then a light hammer, then I'm about 250.
Mm-hmm. All right, so about 250. That does still put you above the 400.
Oh yeah. Okay, I'll take it off then. I'll take off my armor.
All right, so you take 10 minutes to, or rather, it's only 5 minutes to take it off. Excuse me.
I imagine Lee's probably done it enough at this point, being level 10, that he could probably shave a minute off.
Well, even then, you take some time to remove your armor, and you pack it on the goat, and the fisherman says, "Just so y'all know, I'm charging extra for this, but whatever." And you continue to get it to the point where basically most, if not, is off, and it's on the boat.
Okay.
And you and Philvin can be on it, and you can, tie a rope onto the boat if you want. But with a fly speed of 30 feet, the boat, he's rowing it with a massive goat in it. It's not going very fast.
Yeah, and like hundreds of pounds worth of equipment.
Yeah, it's very, very slow. Enormous does, of course, bring up a good point. This guy's saying that he can catch bigger fish than the guy that supposedly is famous for catching great claw, and he's saying he can catch these massive fish in
Well-
this little teeny boat.
Lee knows from his research that Aiden theoretically did not catch Great Claw, that Great Claw was a guardian of them and was protecting them and then died naturally.
Yes. Exactly.
And as Lee tells this all to the fisherman probably like, yeah, I know this. I live here. You fucking tourist. I assume.
Not especially, no, Ormus. You didn't miss anything. But are you basically shouting it from the lobster? Like, yeah, we want to talk to this guy because he brought in, Great Claw.
We're flying beside the boat, so we're not that far away.
Mm-hmm.
We're not moving very fast either, so I'm just,
Not at all. No,
I'm
no, it's very slow. You think you could swim faster, but yeah, you're able to talk to him easily enough. But you're just telling him about Great Claw, or
yeah, I'm just talking about Great Claw because I've done a bunch of nerd research on it.
mm-hmm. He says, "Why are you going out to see Aiden?"
Well, we think he has a net, maybe, or maybe he knows where somebody has the special net that we're looking for.
Oh, I can get you any net you want, any kind of net, much better nets than he has.
You ever? Oh, okay. Do you know anything about? Do I remember the name of the artifact?
It didn't really have a name; it was just a net.
Do you know anything about a net that's for catching dragons?
He says, "I can get you a net for dragons, no problem. My cousin makes special nets, any kind of net you want."
Well, maybe if this doesn't
He's just rowing along.
this doesn't pay off with Aiden, I'll take you up on that offer.
I love to imagine that Lee just comes back, guys, I found the net, and it's just like a really big net.
Yeah, it's made net by this guy's cousin.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
Yeah.
obviously not magical.
He just keeps rowing along, and the time passes, and the time continues. And oh man, it's been a couple of hours. The sun is overhead. It is shockingly hot out here. And you're looking around. You're pretty far from the coast. You don't see any islands.
Are we getting close?
He says, "Yep, almost there." And he's just continuing to row. Continuing to row.
Oh man, this is gonna take a while.
Is Aiden gonna be a halfling or something?
But
You make it all the way back to the north.
you get far enough out, you're sort of in the middle of nowhere. As you look around, as slow as you went out here, you can't really see much of anything around you. You can sort of see some land off in that direction, but it's a ways. You don't really even remember which way town is. It's a bit strange. But the fellow in the boat stops rowing, and he looks up at you all up there, and he says, "So why are you really here to see Aiden?"
Well, I did tell you about the net, right?
He says, "Yeah, but there are nets all over the place."
Well, yeah, but this is a special magic net.
What's so special about it?
Well, it was made by a god to catch another god.
He nods and says, "That sounds like a pretty special net. Why do you want it?"
Because we need to catch a god.
"Oh, what god's that?"
Have you not heard about Tiamat leading an army?
Yeah, I heard about that. She took out Bourbonville or whatever.
Exactly. That's our goal. We're going to stop her.
He shrugs.
Why are you so interested?
I'm not. Why are you interested? He's just looking at you, rocking a little bit in the boat with the waves.
He seems more protective than actually interested.
Yeah, out of character, I agree, Ormus. This is either Aiden or somebody protecting him. That's where my brain immediately went.
Agreed.
Yeah, I'm mostly just interested because, well, I want to protect the world.
He nods and he says, "Yeah, seems like a lot of responsibility to protect the world."
It's more than I want.
He says, "Do you know what it's like to drown?"
I
Is that
actually
a threat?
do. I actually do know what it's like to drown.
It's pretty terrible.
I know.
Why don't
I've
you
drowned
go?
in canon during the game a couple of times, I think, at least once.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you were originally hiding the heart, you nearly drowned. I know at least
Yeah.
that much.
I've almost drowned a couple of times on this quest to protect the world from Tiamat, actually.
He says, "Well, you're still here, so you haven't drowned. That's good.
Not yet.
Why don't you just go home?
I can't do that.
Why not?"
People are depending on me.
He nods and says, "That's all well and good, but it's better than drowning."
You would think. But I would gladly drown to protect the people that I care about.
He says, "That's a shame to hear."
He's gonna try to drown you.
You can see his hand reaches into a pocket on his pants, and he pulls
Is he
out.
gonna cast watery sphere or something?
No, you're not even there. Shut up. And he pulls out what appears to be a section of fine net from his pocket.
You Raiden?
He says, "I don't know how you showed up, but I saw you swimming to shore. I don't know how you got here. I don't know if your ship sank or you flew here on that damn lobster or something. Go home."
We teleported here using magic bullshit.
He says, "Well, then you can teleport your goat-loving ass home."
That sounds like a slur, but okay.
That's my new insult. You goat lover.
Mr. Marsden, I'm sorry, but we need it. And with power comes responsibility, and I need to do everything I can to help in this fight.
And he
And
says,
I will do everything that I can to help in this fight.
"You're right. It takes responsibility, and I'll do everything I can to keep this power out of the hands of others."
Can you tell me why?
Because the things that can be done with this are too much. My family's been protecting this. I don't even know how long. I'm not giving it up.
I respect that. If you won't give it to us for a reason like that, will you come with us? Will you help us? It never has to leave you.
He says, "Help with what? I'm just a humble fisherman."
You're a humble fisherman who holds great power.
He shakes his head and he says, "No, I'm just a humble fisherman."
You have something that has the potential to save the world.
And destroy it.
That's right.
I'd rather it not be used.
Did you rather watch the world burn around you, knowing that you could have done something to stop it?
If it comes to that, I'll stop it myself.
What chance would you have by yourself? Come with us.
He grins and he says, I don't think you understand what this net can do.
I think I have an idea.
He nods. Says, all right. Time for y'all to go home now.
Nothing I'm doing is working. I felt like I was being pretty persuasive.
Bribe him, Drew. Bribe him.
Bribe him? I don't want to. That's not like a thing that I don't think Lee would try to do
I
that.
do not think that would work at all. If anything, I think that would dissuade him from giving it to you.
Like, Lee's supposed to be kind of honorable. That's his only redeeming feature. I can't do that.
You could try to kill him to take it from him.
I'm not gonna try to kill it to take it from
I
him.
know, I know.
Also, you're just as bad as me.
He starts to rock in the boat. Have your goat make a... Let's go. It has a dexterity saving. It has an advantage to keep from being knocked prone, or basically to keep its balance, right?
Yes.
Sure-footed.
Make your goat make a dexterity saving throw at advantage as he's attempting to tip the boat.
Let me check exact stats on this again. I'm pretty sure I know what it is, but I just want to double check it.
Okay.
So Louise, this is taking a while. Okay. Yeah, okay, it is a flat roll, but if I'm within 10 feet, he still gets a little bonus. A little one.
Okay. You dropped the...
I did that wrong.
Yeah.
I typed it in wrong.
Yeah, you had to roll 2 of them.
Yeah, sorry, it's been a little while since I've done
It's
this.
fine. Perfectly fine. Doing great. Couldn't do better.
Ooh, how? I rolled 2 really, really bad rolls? Okay. To be fair, the first roll was an 18.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Okay, that's a 7.
You know, the canoe tips over and your goat goes into the water, continuing to be weighed down by another 80 pounds of gear, including its own... Oh, this is a lot for a goat to handle. And you can see as this stranger begins to just swim away towards nothing, out to sea, essentially.
How did nothing I say, convince them at all? I feel kind of cheated.
If somebody came up to you and said, hey, I need to borrow your... Trust me, I'm really important. Would you give them your car?
No, but I don't feel like I did that bad of a job of being persuasive. I didn't want to make rolls because I thought I was doing a good job role-playing.
Yeah, I understand, but... I mean, who are you? You're just some random person that came in. Hey, you know that extremely powerful magic item that your family's been protecting for thousands of years? Give it to me, because I want it. Please?
I offered for him to come with me and help.
And he said no. He declined.
But he knows exactly what is going on in the world. He knows that Tiamat is destroying the world. You would think he would be eager to, stop it.
Not everyone wants to be an adventurer.
Oh. So, be honest with me. Was there anything I could have done?
Yeah, plenty of things. And it's not over. He's just swimming away. What do you want to do? Your goat seems to be having a very difficult time swimming and keeping itself afloat. You're at least a mile away from shore.
I'm gonna, I guess we flip the boat back over and, well, crap, you can't get the goat in the boat from the water. Shit.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what to do.
Philbin says that we can swim for it, and the goat can take the. It'll help at least.
That's
May
fair.
I weigh in?
Of
I
course,
mean, I guess if you're a flower on Lee's shoulder.
get some meta in there.
I mean, you could just take the armor off the goat and handle that to Philbin, and then swim with your goat. You're a good enough swimmer.
Okay, I guess
Could do
I can
that.
take off. I'll take off the saddlebags and
All right,
Jump
so
in
you dive from the floating lobster into the.
yeah, to save my goat, pull off the saddlebags and hand them to Philbin.
Okay, yeah, you're able to, with the well-established record of you being quite a good swimmer, and you not being inhibited by your arm, you're very easily able to go down and lighten the load enough that your goat can wade in the water. It is panicking a bit, but it's doing what it needs to do, and you're able piece by piece to get the saddlebags onto the lobster, and soon your goat is able to be fine, and you're able to ride atop your goat and be able to float. And
Sorry, Ormus. Lee doesn't kill people pointlessly.
Yeah, Lee's lawful good.
The few times that I have killed people have mostly just been like there's not a lot of choice in the matter. They either deserve to die or it was just like one of those situations where the entire party was killing people and I was like, I literally can't not right now.
you can
Yeah,
really see
Ormus.
Ormus's worldview coming through. That's
Yeah.
point. I just made a point.
Yeah, Ormus, you did make a point, but like that's not a good enough point. Like there's like, well, I was gonna say chaotic neutral, but that's not quite as what Ormus has been doing lately, considering he burned down a church most recently.
Well, it's just to a point of it, in that sometimes there is a limit to what some people will have to go to get something done, and there are some things Lee's just not willing to do.
I guarantee you, if Ormus was there, he would kill him, but that's not Lee's thing. He's a paladin.
Yep.
Yeah,
So,
If I was playing one of my other characters, I might kill him.
lawful
you're
good
on
means
your-
no death for no reason other than absolutely necessary, and it's not necessary.
Well, not all lawful death, or not all lawful good is that way. Some lawful good can be really
Oh
strong,
yeah, lawful good will kill people.
but it's not in Lee's character to, do that. But anyway,
Kill an unarmed, unthreatening person to steal from him? Yay.
yeah, that's not Lee.
Well,
So,
there are lawful characters that would just kill anybody that get in their way.
well, because at a certain point you are inhibiting the law,
Exactly.
but that's not what's going on here. So, you are, as I said, about a mile or so, if not more, from the shore. You've got Philbin atop the lobster with your saddlebags, and you're atop your goat. And Philbin asks you, Lee, I think I can get him. I think I can see him over there in the water. Should I? He's kind of making a, should I stop him? Kind of.
Don't hurt him. Let's just catch up to him.
All right. You continue to basically be swimming after him. Let's see, what would the swim speed be on your goat?
The goat does not have a good swim. It doesn't have the swimming speed, so it would be half of its movement speed. So 20, I think.
That's what I was thinking, yeah. Philbin, of course, having much more movement, but not wanting to go necessarily ahead of you, is going along. Do you want to try and get your goat to dash? It
Yeah,
might exhaust him, though.
If we're Lee's movement speed is swimming speed is technically less than that based off of what do you call it? What? Crap,
Encumbrance?
Lumberment?
No. If you don't have a swimming speed, your swimming speed is automatically half of your movement speed.
Yeah.
I mean, that actually is knocking him out is actually within Lee's wheelhouse.
It
The
is.
issue with that is if you knock a person out while they're swimming, they're likely to sink.
I don't mean right now. But that he is right. That is like part of Lee's like thing.
Oh, I assumed Dormus meant right now.
Well,
Same difference. Plus, you could just pick him up. You could do, whatever. But you still, your goat's swim speed is less than his swim speed.
is there, since Lee is pre-established as being a good swimmer, is there any way that I could like do something to catch up to him, like make a good make athletic rolls or something, where I just really swim hard?
Well, you can abandon your goat and use your dash essentially to swim super hard, but that's at the risk of exhausting yourself.
If Lee has anything, it is good endurance.
That's true.
And so Lee will attempt to outswim him because he's a good swimmer, and he is also if he has literally anything, it's stamina.
Okay. What is your Constitution score?
Total.
Excuse me, your Constitution modifier.
My modifier is +10. Or not
Dormus?
no, my save. My save is +10. My modifier is +3.
+3. Okay.
I realize what you're asking for afterwards.
It's fine. I'm just laughing at Ormus over here. How did I become the murder hobo?
By being the murder hobo. That's
You were always the murder hobo, buddy. The church. Remember when he wanted to burn down the bed and breakfast, or the inn?
Oh yeah, there was that.
Again, it literally started when he first started the campaign and killed somebody immediately.
Just instantly, and that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Anyway, so yeah, you can abandon your goat and try to swim double time as fast as you can.
Now you say abandon, but it's probably better off swimming without me.
Well, so your movement speed is because you don't have. You don't technically have like a proficiency in swimming, or like what is? You don't have a swim speed in full.
On here, I do not have one. I do not have a proficiency like Aladrin has a 30-foot swim speed. Mm-hmm. I don't have that mechanically.
Yeah, that is
athletics,
and the athletics can certainly help. So your swim speed is entirely what right now? Like what would it be? So your speed is what, 30?
It would be my speed is 30, so it would be 15.
Yeah, and then if you are putting in everything you got a dash that can get you up to 30.
Okay.
You could or go on, Molly Mort.
I would just like to say, is there anything Philbin can do to help you swim faster? I think freedom of movement actually
that's maybe but
negates impairment.
Well, I'd like to use my athletics to go faster.
Freedom of movement. Well, yeah, I got a deal for you, Lee. I'll pitch that to you in a second. But looking at it, well, let's see. Yeah, freedom of movement would do it, but Philbin does not have freedom of movement.
And Lee wouldn't know if he had that.
Yeah. Well, Philbin would know, but he knows he doesn't. So, Lee, you can, right now, if you're going all out, you can go 30 feet, essentially, in a turn. But that certainly is not going to be enough to catch up to him. But I will let you make an athletics check to get an extra boost of movement to try and keep up with him. But failures can result in increased chance of exhaustion.
All right. Now, is becoming exhausted a saving throw or just a check?
It's like a death saving throw. Or not death saving throw. It's like a point against you. You gain a level of exhaustion.
I know, but can I use my con save, which is much better than my con modifier?
No, it's one thing is you'll attempt to make an athletics check to defeat it with the rising DC. The more times you do it, and as you fail, you'll gain levels of exhaustion.
Okay. I guess I
Because
will.
you're going to be burning yourself out. You're going beyond the normal dash, which is dash already can give you levels of exhaustion. This basically increases the chance of that because you're pushing yourself beyond the physical limits of what you're supposed to be able to do.
That is fair, but we are really far out. Can I hold off on doing that and pace myself to begin with? Because Lee has a lot of experience in training, and he knows how to pace himself.
Sure. You can certainly pace yourself, but this guy, in pacing himself, is potentially going to be going still a lot faster than you.
Even with a dash?
Even with the dash, you're able to go 30. His swim speed is 30. He dashes, he goes 60.
Ooh, God. Okay,
He's like with Aladrin, he's got a full swim speed.
Man, I need to unlock that.
But yeah, you can have Philbin keep up with him, no problem. Philbin can watch him the whole time, but you'll be left in the middle of the sea, alone.
That's fine. Philbin can catch up with him and just keep an eye on him, and I'll do it. I'll athletics it.
Okay. So Philbin will, go ahead. What do you want your goat to do?
Just to follow.
Okay. I just love this, Orvis. I burned down one church. I'm not saying you're not making a good point. I'm on your side. I'm just laughing at the hilariousness of it. I was like, oh, you're totally evil. Oh, come on. I burned down one church.
That was a natural 20.
That's pretty darn good. So yeah, you're able to really start to push yourself as you're moving along. And yeah, you indeed are swimming faster than you have ever swam in your entire life. Really pushing yourself. And he continues to, basically stay ahead. Although you are gaining on him a bit, he is quite ahead of you. Basically you started somewhere in the neighborhood of the time it took you to go down and get the equipment and come back up. He got about 100 feet ahead of you. And now you've got it down to about 90 feet ahead of you. You want to go again?
Yeah, Lee's gonna realize that he's having a little bit of a, he started off strong, but this is not, he doesn't know how long this is gonna be last.
Mm-hmm.
So he's gonna start focusing really hard and start saying a prayer in his head and give himself less.
Okay, that's probably for the best.
Because he knows he needs to go above and beyond, and he needs a greater power than himself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna make my next.
Well, I'll add bless. It allows you to add a D4 to attack rolls and saving throws.
Oh right, fuck. What am I gonna do with this then?
Yeah, if you had the there's a cleric ability. Anyway, guidance would do it.
Yeah. Okay.
You don't have guidance.
I guess I don't do that then. Well, can I use bless to help with my stamina rolls?
Well, if you need to make them,
Okay.
yeah. But right now, you haven't made them. But I'm not saying the bless won't be useless, but it's not going to help with everything.
I'm gonna hold off for 3 turns then, if with this new understanding on it. So the first turn is done. I'm gonna make 2 more rolls before I bother to try that.
Okay. So yeah, with that roll, you got yourself within 90 feet as you're continuing to come.
Ooh, only a 13. I rolled really bad on that for some reason.
That's fine. You still pass it, and you're able to bring it in even closer, and you have gotten yourself up to, within 80 feet of him, and you can see Philbin just hovering above like a news helicopter, but lobster, as he's just circling above, and you're getting closer and closer to where he's essentially hovering.
I need good luck on these rolls, so I'm pulling out my special lead dice. It's stone colored with silver lettering on it.
Okay.
because Discord has been treating me very poorly lately, and I feel like I need a real dice for this. So can I
Okay.
do one more time?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's your character. You can do whatever you want. Yeah.
Okay. Because of that really bad roll, I'm gonna go ahead and cast Bless early.
Okay. You're gonna go ahead and cast Bless early. Now, when you cast Bless, is that a bonus action or full action?
I think I have to stop. I think I have to stop to cast it because it's well, no, I still have movement, but it is a full action, so I can't dash. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're not going to be able to dash when you do that. You can use it as an action, which means that's going to slow you down quite a bit. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm giving you a free action to push yourself to the full extent. Although I think I'd be justified in making it a, but you know.
Well, I think he has to slow down because he actually has to say the words, and he's trying to catch his breath.
Okay. Yeah, you're definitely gonna have to slow down. You're not gonna be able to dash while doing Bless
Yeah,
for sure.
Just,
While casting it at least. But after that, it's just concentrate.
yeah, he's still able to swim a little bit, but he's like gathering his energy in his mind, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's gonna try to push forward really hard again.
Okay. Now, as you slowed down to be able to cast Bless, you went from moving 40 feet around to moving 15 feet.
Okay.
And with him essentially going 30 feet around, you went further back. So you went from basically being 80 feet behind him to being 95 feet behind him.
I think that's fine. I mean,
Okay.
I think this is gonna benefit me, so I think it's okay.
All right. And that being you didn't dash that time. You're still moving along, so good. You want to do the full dash and push yourself again?
Yeah, I'm hoping, and since I kind of stopped, do I have like a chance? Did that kind of help me catch my breath at all? Maybe help.
Unfortunately, not, because you're still moving pretty hard.
Okay, I'll roll again.
Okay, go ahead and roll again.
Okay, 11 plus 7, 18.
Okay, yeah, you're able to move yourself a full 40 again, which definitely helps to get you 85 feet away from him. Get you a little bit closer. Oh man, it's starting to get, it's starting to burn a little bit. But you can continue to push yourself as you're moving along. But it is getting heavy. You're definitely feeling it. But go on if you want to keep on pushing.
He's gonna keep trying his best.
Okay.
I'm gonna try again because I don't know what else to do.
Push yourself ahead.
I rolled better. 15 plus 7, that is 23.
With a 23, yep, you definitely still succeed. You're even closer to him now, only 75 feet away or so.
I meant it was only 22.
Even then,
Okay.
the DC you were looking at was still lower.
Okay. I'm gonna try for one more time.
Okay.
Please, please, please. Oh, fuck. 12.
Okay. You start to feel some serious pain a little bit. It's getting a little tough to basically move everything. Make a Constitution saving throw.
Saving
Which I know for you is ridiculous.
Well, like it's partially being, it's partially.
Or excuse me, a Constitution check, not a saving throw.
Oh man.
I just had to double check that. It is a Constitution check.
It's okay, I rolled good. I got an 18 plus 3, 21.
Okay, yeah, that's more than enough. You're able to keep on going.
And crap, my bless isn't gonna affect checks, so. Oh man.
Yeah, let me double check that to be absolutely sure.
I mean, I believe you. It makes sense. I just really
I know.
wish it was a saving throw.
But I want to be sure because we don't use the chase rules very.
It would just be super convenient for me if it were a saving throw.
Exactly, and I want to double check that. I want to be sure. So, Let me see here. Exhaustions. There we go. Yeah, unfortunately, it is a Constitution check,
Okay.
not a
Yeah,
saving throw.
I only have a +3 in that, which is decent. Good. It's not like a 10, but I can work with this. I got an 18 and a 21.
Okay. So you don't gain a level of exhaustion, and you do get closer. You're now 65 feet away from him.
Oh. Okay. I'm gonna try again, I guess.
Okay. Go ahead and now this time you're going to roll to try and see if you can push yourself. Go
Okay.
for it.
That's still in athletics.
Well, no, actually, hang on. You failed to push, didn't you? So no,
Yeah,
you're not.
I didn't do this as
You're
far.
not 65 feet away from him. You're still only 75. You made no gains,
Okay.
but you kept up with him.
Okay. Okay. That's a start. I roll another athletics?
If you want, yeah. If you
I
want
mean,
to keep on trying to overtake him, yeah.
I mean, I don't really know what else to do, so I'm gonna do that.
Go for it.
Ah, Jesus Christ. Okay. 17.
Okay, 17 gets you through, and you're able to go forward again. But because you've been going so fast, oh man, go ahead and make another Constitution check to try and wave off the exhaustion.
Okay. Constitution. What? No. I rolled a 2, so that's a 5.
You take 1 level of exhaustion,
Okay. Let me
and
mark that real quick.
yeah, this one starts to get up pretty fast because you now have disadvantage on all abilities. So these rolls that you're making to keep up are going to be made at disadvantage.
Okay.
All right. But you made gains. You're 65 feet away from them, but oh man, it's starting to get so you want to keep going, pushing ahead.
Can I use a free action to call out to him?
Yeah, definitely. What do you want to say?
I'm gonna say, I really want to be able to persuade him, but I don't know what I can say that's gonna help change his mind. Be like, we need it. We need it to save a lot of lives. We need it to help the world. It's really important. Trust me.
You can see
I can
as
do.
you shout it out, he actually stops moving and kind of yells back. And he says, "I warned you to leave. If you drowned, it's not on me." And then he goes returning to swimming.
I'm gonna keep swimming after him.
Okay, go ahead and make your check at disadvantage to try and keep up with him.
God, I really wish this wasn't disadvantage because I just rolled really well. Okay, I gotta roll the second time.
I know, it's crazy. It's almost like I did it on purpose.
I know. Okay, I still got a 13, which is a 20.
Okay, unfortunately, that's not.
Okay, that's fair. That's
Oh,
fair.
no, wait, you rolled a 20?
Well,
A 20 is enough.
20 total, yeah.
20 total. Yeah, 20 total is enough. Yeah,
Well,
I heard
I'm
the
not-
13. It was like, nah.
Well,
But yeah,
yeah.
we'll go on.
I just have a really high plus.
That's fine.
Okay.
But because you did it as a free action while still trying to swim the best you can, and because he stopped, you're able to get much closer, and you're able to pull yourself along. You've gotten yourself within 25 feet of. But you got to roll again to avoid another point of exhaustion.
Yes, sir. Do I have disadvantage on this too?
Oh yeah,
Even though it's a check, right?
it's a check,
I didn't.
Yeah.
I thought it was just ability checks. Crap.
and Constitution is an ability check.
Oh yeah. Fuck. I never have to make like normal ability checks.
I know it's weird, but you know.
Okay. Uh, okay. Well, I rolled an 18 and a 6, so it's 6 plus 3, so 9.
9. You take another point of exhaustion,
Yes, I do.
and your speed is cut in half.
Alright. My bless never came into this, and I'm really sad.
I'm sorry. I thought it was saving throws to begin with, but I checked it, and it is checks. I think it's because of this. Because level 1 gives you disadvantage, it encourages you to... It snowballs your failure.
Has the goat caught up to me yet?
Your goat was going half as fast as you were going.
Okay.
Oh no, your goat was going a fairly decent speed, but it still wasn't going as fast as you were going.
Okay.
It's following, but it's behind you a ways. But your speed has been cut in half. You're 25 feet away from him. You're closer than you've been this entire time. What do you want to do? You could see Philbin yelling from above. You know,
I think I'm not
you
hearing.
almost got him, Lee.
I don't know if I'm actually able to like completely hear so well right now because I'm probably like going in and out of consciousness at the moment.
You're probably getting a lot of thump, 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 thump,
Yeah,
going on.
Basically, all I could hear.
Yeah, you're not quite to the wall, but you're pretty darn close.
I'm gonna yell out again. Please, we need you. This is important to the world, not just us. And I'm gonna try to catch up to him again.
Okay. Keeping in mind that... Okay, well, that's fine. Try to catch up to him. What'd you roll?
Disadvantage, right?
Disadvantage.
Okay, that's still a 17.
Okay. A 17 is not enough to keep up with it because of the rising DC as you go along. So you are unable to push yourself past it, which means you make 2 checks at disadvantage at the chance of exhaustion.
Alright, the first one is a 13.
Okay.
Another level of exhaustion, I assume. The second one is a 12.
Okay. You don't gain any more levels of exhaustion, but you only move 15 feet while he moves 30. Still just casually swimming along, pushing you back to 40 feet away from him and slowing down quick.
Alright. Has the goat caught up yet?
The goat is now swimming faster than you, but he's a couple rounds behind. It'll be a while before he catches up.
Lee's not gonna give up.
Oh boy. He yells back again, "You're gonna drown like an idiot!" And you can see Philbin above, almost making a spell, and he says, "Lee, I could do it."
Don't. It's not worth it.
You can see Philbin is really, like, he's got his hand out. He could so do it right now, and it would be over, and it would be done.
Philbin, you know we're better than this.
He yells and he breaks off, and he goes over to you, and he says, "He's out in the middle of nowhere. We'll get him when he comes back. Stop drowning." And he holds out his arm to you.
I'll take his hand, realizing that he has a good point.
He tries to lift you up, but because it's covered in saddlebags, the lobster just sinks again. And he just basically just holds on to you like a flotation device in the water, with it a little bit. And he says, he's just swimming out to sea. He'll be back one day. As your goat gets closer.
I'm just gonna take a little while to catch my breath while my goat catches up.
Indeed, it takes some time. So, the rest of you that are in the City of Hope, what do y'all want to do? Sorry. Just kind of having a philosophical argument over who's really the bad guy here. As you go on, presumably over tea and cookies. But where do y'all want to head? What do you want to do with your time? Or do y'all just want to, relax, do nothing?
I think we need to have a discussion with. I know we just had the discussion with Bahamut, but honestly, I think we need to talk out our plan here, see what we're going to do, because we're going to require a lot of material either way, and we need to figure out how we're going to get that.
Well, you're going to need stone to convert into flesh. You don't know if any old stone would work, but you happen to know that the king's uncle, who is a co-conspirator and supporter of the queen, owns a massive quarry and mine nearby, essentially giving what is likely to be an infinite amount of stone as needed. You have no clue where a wishing well may be. Well, sort of. You think there's one in the White Sea, but you don't know beyond that. You got a rough idea of where the body of Bahamut is if you want to go for his bones, and he said he can lead you to it. He's pretty sure. And you have a necromancer, and you have a cleric.
I think getting some Bahamut's bones would be good if we can do that.
Yeah, I agree, but how long would the voyage take is the main thing.
Bahamut says that it was several days' flight east from an area near Bakata. So, in terms of the journey, weeks at best, if not months.
Heck.
So the only way we'd get there within a decent amount of time is teleportation, but that's not a guarantee either because we don't have anything near that area. Unless, I doubt it, but would you happen to have anything that we could use as a teleport focus to get us at least within a few days of the area?
He says that he's not really sure. He says his heart might be connected to his body, but he doubts it. But he says he doesn't know much about teleportation, but she knows, he, she, etc. Bahamut knows roughly where the sort of battle and betrayal was, and he has a rough idea of, being killed and where it was. He thinks he knows roughly the region, and it's giant dragon bones. How could you miss it?
Molly is going to pull out her map and say, "Can you give us a rough idea? Like, is it over, like, this area, or?"
So how big is Molly Mort's map? Does it basically show, like, the entire known world, all the way down to the Dwarven lands and the gnomes?
Well, she would have started with her homeland, of course, and done as much of that as she knew, at least. And then she probably would have, taken notes on her travels up to Bakata, and she's pretty much been taking notes ever since. And she has one, like, world map that she's been working on, and, like, she didn't really get a proper map of Hope. Wait, no. When, oh gosh, what was his name? The human guy. I think it started with an E, maybe EL. Hold on one sec. I think that he gave me a rough map of Hope.
The human that was at Tyrannia, or someplace else.
Yeah, he was like an emissary.
Yeah, that was Edwin.
Edwin, yes. I just found it in my notes. But I think he gave me a rough idea of, like, the basic idea of Hope. So I have that.
Yeah, basically Hope is a pretty simple, small city, way, way, way far north compared to almost everything. But he essentially kind of puts his finger around Bakata and roughly the outline of the Muddy Sea, and he says, here is where the war pretty much came to a stop. And then he runs his finger really far east, and he kind of circles and he says, somewhere in here. You can see the kind of sharp points of Mika's nails are making a very wide, large circle as to where the remains of her soul companions' bodies may be.
Alright, I circle that general area and make a note of Kata's bones, question mark, question mark. I mean, Bahamut's.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a bit far for us to travel, even if we start at Bakata or something. So maybe we should start with something else for now.
Yeah. From your markings of Verbonville, or rather not Verbonville, but Terenia, if you're right about the distance, she's right about the distance, and about how fast you could move, if you found a good way of getting out there, it would probably take at least 2 or 3 weeks, if not more, to get there. And that's assuming that you got there and it was just, oh look, a skeletal dragon. Like it might take who knows how long to find it. He wasn't there. He doesn't know if they were even destroyed. He doesn't know. Because at that point, his soul was within an egg. But you roughly have that information.
Alrighty then. I think we should go for something else for now. I wonder how Lee is doing.
Meanwhile, Lee trying not to drown with a goat and a lobster. So in hope, nobody wants to. Y'all just want to chill out, relax. No plans or schemings or activities to do. Preparations.
I was actually gonna go around and see if I couldn't find a good perch or somewhere that I can overlook the king, his chambers.
All right.
From outside or something.
Scout the place out a bit.
Hold on a second. Let me check something.
Yeah.
Having been in his chambers before, you know that he only has one sort of large open balcony, and it faces to the inside of the ring that is the stone heart of hope. And so essentially you would have to be on top of the roof of the palace to be able to see into his quarters.
Are there windows outside that would view in there?
None at all.
Okay.
Yeah, these buildings were built as fortresses to protect the family of the first king. They only open to the inside. The walkways go around the outside, and they don't open.
Okay.
Now,
Are there like any places that I'd be able to like hide in, per se?
On the roof, or
No, because if I can't view inside from the outside of the roof, then that's out of the question. But
yeah,
inside, maybe like around somewhere I could just like get a view of him.
I mean, from the roof, yeah, maybe from the ground floor. If you're looking up through the sort of sunwell within the center of the ring of the building, if he's out on his balcony, you could probably see him. If you were on another one of the rooms that has a balcony across from his, you could. The Queen's Chamber is sort of next to it. Unless he's out on the balcony, you wouldn't be able to see him. But there are other rooms you could see into the King's quarters from, but you haven't actually been in those rooms. But theoretically, you could, if you were to sneak in there, you could do it.
So the king does have a balcony.
He has a large balcony, and essentially it's like one. So imagine this: the the castle is sort of a cylinder, and around the outside of it, there's the sort of a long hallway and spiraling staircases, and that's sort of how everyone moves. And then there's an inner ring, and that makes up different rooms and offices, and they're sort of like slices of this donut. And with the king's sort of ones, it's got doors that enter into it, and it's a large section of this, almost like a quarter of the building in this level. And the inner ring, the whole thing is open. It's just an open wall that leads to a balcony that goes out. Gets lots of air and light and everything. It's very wide open in that sense.
So,
But it goes to the inside of the ring of the castle.
is there a point that it seems like, because I know we haven't been on the rooftop, but like just scoping out the place, is there a point that we think we could see it from the rooftop?
From the roof, you could absolutely look down and see his balcony.
Okay, so I just had a thought, Orvis. Let's
That's what I was
say,
trying to get at.
let's say you and me, the Bow of Whispers uses a wind arrow, therefore it is untrackable as far as leaving ammunition. And it does bludgeoning damage. Let's say you and me stake out, try and get on the roof, then stake out for a couple of days, see when he comes out, then take the most opportune moment we can to shoot him in the back of the head with the wind arrow, try and knock him off the balcony.
Well, we still have to try and so it doesn't do piercing then, so it won't leave any. Well, it might leave a mark.
Nah,
We're just trying to make it look like an accident.
yeah.
That's the problem. So what I was thinking
Well,
is,
that's why I was saying,
no,
like, shoot him in the back of the head.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't hit him in the head. It'll be too obvious of a wound. Hit him in the back.
Yeah, true, yeah. Like, hit him when he's, like, say, outside smoking a cigar with a glass of wine in his, being a, what you call it, a king, being a stereotypical king. And, hit him where he falls, in quotation marks, off the balcony. And it is a wind arrow. It doesn't, like, leave a trace, and it does bludgeoning damage, so...
yeah, well, we can leave that for Plan B. But what I want to do is I want to make it look like he just went crazy because there's no mark, no trace, no nothing.
I mean, all right.
If it doesn't work, then absolutely.
Well,
I'll have you up there with me and everything.
the knocking off the balcony is a really good idea because the Bow of Whispers doesn't have a range. You can shoot him from impossibly far away with a normal weapon.
Yeah, like...
And I got some really good range with Phantasmal Killer too.
Alright. I mean, I guess do that first.
I mean, would Phantasmal Killer leave a magical trace is what I'm wondering, because, they have dragons and Dragonborn. I'd be willing to bet they'd be able to... Because it's a charm, right?
Yeah, that's true.
How would it leave a trace though?
A magical trace of him being charmed.
I mean, like, if you're insisting on Phantasmal Killer, you might as well just send Fiona in with Shadow Blade.
Yeah, true.
Wait, okay, I am, okay. I didn't know if I was unmuted.
No, yeah, you are. I'm just having a hard time debating all of this in my head because, there's just not really a good way to go about assassinating a reclusive king that lives in a fortress.
I don't know. I think there's all of these are really good ideas. I personally
I'm just
like...
trying to figure out how you can trace it, Phantasmal Killer, because that would be interesting. Because after he's dead, that's it.
Yeah.
Well, my question is Phantasmal Killer a charm effect? Because, for however long it lasts, I feel like...
It says, in terms of it being a charm, it's not specifically a charm. It doesn't actually charm the person. It creates a fear. So it doesn't mechanically charm them.
I honestly think simplest is typically best, and I kind of like just shooting him off of the balcony with the bow of whispers. But I'm not there, so you guys decide among yourselves.
I'm kind of with Lee on this one.
I think it's simpler.
Yeah, I think it would be simpler just to get us on the rooftop because, like, we both have methods of being not seen. Me in darkness, and you can just cast invisibility.
Not to mention, you guys can be crazily far away and keep an eye on him and shoot him and stuff.
Yeah, I have a +9 to it because I have archery fighting style. I'm sure you have a great dex as well. We could take turns scouting and not just take the first opportunity, but, you know, stake out for a couple of days, see when he's going to be.
Yeah, like a good opportunity. Molly has that spyglass, doesn't she?
I do.
I mean, just get like so far away, there's no way that any normal bow can shoot him, and take him out from that far away, and it would be really hard to tie you to that. And that would be beyond their perimeter of being able to like keep an eye on you, you know?
Also, I will say that I probably would have insisted that we walk outside of earshot of Bahamut, and
Yeah, I
Oh,
assumed as
absolutely.
much.
yeah, while we have this discussion.
Yeah, I assumed.
Probably while we're scouting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
And as you scout, you can see that they do have essentially a roaming number of guards. You can't really seem to determine any kind of a pattern that they're moving in. Sometimes they move in groups. Sometimes they move alone. You don't see anyone on the roof, and you haven't seen roof access. That could be a good thing. That could be a bad thing. But you definitely don't see anything of an opening. You haven't seen any sign of the king. And there's just one door that leads in, and it's constantly manned. So going in would be tricky unless you can use the secret door through the other castle that apparently no one except the queen and a couple of individuals know.
My only concern at this point is, would Bahamut piece it together?
I mean, he's a drunk, petulant child of a king. I feel like it's perfectly reasonable to be like, oh, he got really wasted, was trying to grab some maid's rear and fell off, you know?
I mean, even if it doesn't look like an accident, as long as it doesn't, if nobody figures out it's us.
As long as it's not obvious, too. Because there is a plot to kill him, and there can be a little bit of cover-up.
Yeah, but to create enough force, I'm drunk or not, to knock somebody over with a single impact like that would probably create a bruise in a single point.
That is a fair point, but I feel like it's the best option we have. Because there's no guarantee that Phantasmal Killer will get him, like... Because it has a timeout on it. It doesn't last forever, so he would eventually be cleared of his insanity or whatever, you know?
And I mean, honestly, just randomly going insane seems suspect. Falling. Because people that are close to him or know him or whatever would be like, what the fuck is this?
Plus, like, I feel like we have a really good opportunity. Like, I have several advantages against, people who haven't acted in combat yet if we take, the actual action of it into initiative order or I'm allowed to use those. I would have advantage on my attacks against him. And like I said, I have a +9, so like chances are we would hit with both of them.
What rights do you have, by the way?
My current rights are I know one is Frost. I can't remember the Frost and Lightning.
Okay. You don't have one that would be like a crazy psychic yet?
No, not yet. I can get the Psychic one at level 14, but that's level 17 for me because I'm multi-classing.
Yeah. Oh well. I was gonna say if you righted it or something, maybe that could be related to it. I mean, or lightning right it. They got struck by lightning. I don't know. That one's a little far fetched, but
Oh,
I mean, like, if you don't feel like it's going to do enough damage,
well,
you're
I
off.
mean, I feel like we'll be pretty good because it's a longbow, right?
Yeah.
So it
I'm
does
happy.
it does a D8 plus 3 if I get 2 attacks with it at +9, and that depends on with a +9. I feel like it's reasonable to say I'd hit because I doubt he's wearing armor at all times.
Well, it could theoretically be 3 if you start off initiative because of the fucker thing. You get an extra attack.
Oh, I don't get that yet. I'm only level 2. I haven't in 2 and Ranger. I don't have my Dread Ambusher yet.
Okay. But still,
Plus, the drop's not very far, is it? You said it was like, what, 30 feet? You said that the drop was, what, 30 feet?
From the roof to the balcony?
From the balcony
No,
to the ground where
balcony.
he'd be falling.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's about 30 feet. And it's about that again to the roof or so.
I mean, that is enough to kill a person if he falls, like, on his neck or back.
Yeah, quick question, though. Does the bow have the ability to push somebody? I know it's force damage, but I know some magical items, they specify, you know?
It does not seem, in your experience, to push anybody.
Yeah, it doesn't push. It's just bludgeoning damage. But that's why I was saying we stake out for a couple of days, wait until like we see a point where he's, leaning on the balcony, hit him in his center of gravity, and knock him over.
Give it a shot, yeah.
Because I mean, like, who's and even then, there's no evidence of an ammunition if it doesn't kill him or knock him over. So like at the worst, it's like, oh, he either now has a big bruise in his back, or he's dead with bruise in his back, but we can find no other, like, what, there's not really, if we sneak in and sneak out well enough, I feel like there's not much of a way that they can trace it. Unless somehow the wind arrow... Oh, I'm sorry?
you don't even have to get close.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, I would like to point out that I have to be close to cast reincarnate.
Well, the reincarnate is something we're gonna do later. We're not gonna do that immediately after his death.
Yeah, because reincarnate has a long time limit on it, right?
Like 10 days.
Let's see. Let me check reincarnate.
I mean, my concern
10
with reincarnate is that somebody else would try to revive him before, we could reincarnate him, because that's the main, half the reason for us reincarnating him.
Well, one thing you do know about this town is that it doesn't seem to have any clerics or paladins.
Yes, but this is... He's the king.
It is the king.
Indeed, there are dragons. I imagine they have some magic.
It's possible.
Yeah, I don't feel like immediately revivifying him is going to do any good because we need to have proof that he's dead. He need to be found dead. And honestly, you guys don't even need to worry about sneaking if you're shooting him from super far away, because the range of Bow of Whispers is sight.
Does he need to be found dead, though?
I guess he doesn't. I guess he can just disappear, but, like, I assume that was part of it. Of, like, you knock him off, he's dead, that's the end of it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it was supposed to make it look like an accident.
Okay. Well, I don't know.
I mean, I still feel like this is our best bet of, there are several ifs and, like, weird ways that it could go wrong, but I feel like this is our safest bet as to not getting caught doing it, and it seeming fairly inconspicuous.
I think the knocking him off balcony is a good idea, but I think maybe to, like, not only shore up our own, game plan, maybe Ormus could go in and use the Phantasmal Killer, frighten him onto the balcony, giving him a clear shot to knock him off if Phantasmal Killer doesn't finish him off.
Okay, real quick, the reincarnate spells says it creates a new body for him, but it doesn't say it does anything to destroy the old body. So his body should, in theory, remain.
Okay, well,
What's the range on reincarnate?
It is touch. That's why I'm saying I have to be there.
well, why don't we just worry about that like later during like after the body is found, use the queen to get access to the body, reincarnate him, use the body to be buried. And also, you guys, the stipulation for the reincarnate is that Lee wouldn't help unless if he was being reincarnated. If he's not there, you guys can do whatever evil, devious things you want to do, and Lee have to involved.
I mean, honestly,
Lee, Molly was with you on that. She didn't want to help unless he was reincarnated.
That is fair.
I mean, honestly, like, Fionn doesn't like that we're gonna have to kill him, but it's not a stipulation to use reincarnate for him.
Yeah. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think of like Ormus getting to do his Phantasmal Killer, maybe using it to crack him onto the, whatever you call it, patio or whatever balcony, and then maybe using to finish him off. If it doesn't. Does that cover everybody?
Or if it doesn't push, the air doesn't push him off, I can use Phantasmal Killer as a plan B just in case.
Well, I think it's fine to use plan A and then use the bow as plan B. Because that just seems to make for like logical sense. Drive him out, make him start acting crazy. I don't know. You guys,
He does have to make a will save, and if it doesn't work, we still have to get him to the balcony.
okay.
Either way, this whole thing is very circumstantial.
What do you guys want to do? Do you want to try the Phantasmal Killer first? Or do you want to try to shoot him off first? It's up to you guys.
Well, my inclination is towards trying to shoot him off, but that would also require, I would say Fionn would want at least a week of a stakeout.
Okay. A week is fine.
Keeping in mind, of course, either of those methods can fail and leave you at the scene of the crime with an alarm going.
Yes, of course. That's why Fionn wants some stakeout time, is to like figure out if there is any pattern to guard rotations, like if they intentionally have an erratic pattern.
Well, what if
Or
the bow
what?
whispers?
And I'll probably be asking Arini if there are like any specific clerics around in case, I don't know, fucking
Yeah.
accident.
What were you saying about the bow lead?
Alarms about magic.
I don't know. I can't. There's some background noise, and I can't really like hear over it.
He's saying he's thinking about, or rather, probably going to ask Arini about if there are clerics, specific clerics around. But of course, that would be a very unusual and suspicious question.
Not to mention, we already have.
I don't want to have to keep going back to the
Here is
queen.
You're saying, Lee?
Other than Orin, I don't think there's really any clerics here. I think we've covered that.
Yeah.
We've already asked.
But there are churches in and around town, though, right?
Nope.
Oh, there's no churches. Okay.
Okay. Being at the scene of the crime issue, I think could be at least mitigated by the Bow of Whispers range.
Yeah. Oh, that
Yeah,
was
but-
one other thing I
Still
was
have to
gonna...
be there,
You'd
though.
still have to be 30 feet away to be able to possibly see him, though.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was my thing, is wondering if there were any... Because there's not any higher buildings, are there, that would,
Nope.
allow that?
You'd have to be 30 feet away to see him? Really?
The only visible place that you can see the balcony is either from inside of the building and an opposing balcony, which is a little over 30 feet away, or from the ground floor, about 30 feet away, or from the roof, about 30 feet away. He
Guys,
could fly above the whole thing and get more range, but then he's more dependent on having him come out at, basically at the right angle.
Specific time. Okay. No.
You were saying, Mollymort?
What if we frame him for his own death? What if I did reincarnate on him, then did meld into stone or something, disappeared, and we left him there as somebody else and smeared him in his own blood and let the people find him?
And then they'd execute him. That would defeat the purpose.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
But it would be hilarious.
It would be pretty funny.
Kill the king for the king's death.
Both of you can turn invisible too, so getting away is not that big of an issue.
Well, mine is more dependent on there being darkness, as well as I'm more likely to be seen because if somebody accidentally bumps into me,
I don't know. I'm just trying my best here.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. I agree that it's good. It's a good thing that we both have ways of getting out.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I think you guys should just go with the plan that you have now, because I can't think of anything better. And if it fails, oh well.
I really would prefer to get him reincarnated sooner rather than later, though. So, maybe I could just hang out at the bottom of the town.
That's not going to be suspicious.
Yeah, that is an issue because Fion was asking stakeout time.
Can we just not do it immediately? There's literally no way that I can possibly imagine that we can do it immediately that is not going to make us too personal.
I meant me hang out at the bottom of the tower as an animal.
Okay, I guess. I don't know. I'm just going to back out of the conversation because I don't know what to do.
I feel
Balcony's not outside though.
I feel like we have a pretty good plan of stakeout, take our opportunity, or plan an opportunity based on the stakeout.
Yeah, that sounds fine to me.
All right. So as evening comes, where do y'all want to go to stake out?
Well,
Do you want to be outside of the tower, sort of watching, or do you want to try and sneak in the tower, or try to get on the roof of the tower, or just some other building? Keeping in mind, nothing is quite as big as these towers.
I'd probably get on top, on the roof, just watch his pattern while Theon watches the pattern of the guards.
well, I would want to be on the roof as well. Well, actually, yeah, it probably would be good to have somebody watch the guards to check for the erratic patterns. Yeah, I would trust Ormus to do rooftop while I'm, kind of in the shadows, making my way around, watching the guard rotations and stuff.
Okay. Ormus, how do you get on this roof? It's a round building, 60 feet tall.
Dimension door.
Okay. Yeah. Where do you do the dimension door from? From a hidden place, or from at the base of it, or?
Since I can do it at 200 feet, probably 200 feet out behind something where I can see it. This way, there's no force damage involved.
Mm-hmm.
Before we split up, can I give Ormus the Eye of Ashad and quickly ritual cast? I know it takes 10 minutes, but we have the time. Can I ritual cast Meld into Stone to see if he can see me if I do that? And then I will turn into a raven and just stick with you guys.
Okay. So as you ritual cast Meld into Stone, and you step into a stone object, probably like a wall or a fireplace, something along those lines.
Whatever's nearby.
Yeah. After you move in through it, Ormus, as you bring up the eye, you're unable to see her. She disappears behind the stone.
Okay, I'll let her know.
Cool. And then I'll leave it with you and I'll turn it into a raven and you can make sure that still appears as a raven.
When you turn into a raven?
Yes, we're using wild shape.
Okay. When you turn into a raven, Ormus, and you look, you can see the sort of aura outline of Mollymort, akin to what you saw with Arata and the wonderful eye drops, but not nearly as severe. Very crisp, precise lines.
Heck.
I will describe that. So it's her shape, not the raven shape.
I mean, you see the raven, but you also see an outline of her.
Of her. Okay, yeah. So
Alright, then.
So it seems like polymorph and true polymorph are the only thing that can trick it.
Okay, then I'll turn myself into a raven using polymorph.
Okay, let me see here.
That only uses an hour.
Looking at polymorph. Yeah.
We have confirmed that it works.
I think.
From you.
You were saying, Lee?
I think you guys will probably be able to arrange a time that you might be able to do resurrection later. I don't think you need to do it often. I mean, you're in on it with like it's a conspiracy. I think we'll be able to get to the body to do resurrection later.
Well, reincarnate, but yeah.
I think trying to do it immediately is just going to add more complications that we can't really afford.
I agree. Because I feel like we can get access to the body, or at least, something.
I mean, hell, if we have to dig him up.
Yeah, Fion's not above that.
10 days. I think it's just add a lot of elements that are going to make things more complicated. Because it takes a while to do, doesn't it?
No, it only takes one action.
To reincarnate?
It only takes an action.
Okay, well. I mean, you guys can definitely try to do that. I'm just saying, that's my grain of salt, I guess, my 2 cents. Because I think it's going to make it more complicated.
Well, confirming it, True Sight does see through polymorph. So even when you polymorph, you're able to still see sort of an outline of polymorph. It sees
I thought we already
through.
tried it though when I turned into a cat.
Well, I must have been wrong. But
Okay.
True Sight sees through polymorph, and the Eye of Ashar grants True Sight.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so it sees through polymorph, and yeah.
I'm surprised it sees through wild shape as well. But if we can't do it today, I will say that I am not comfortable with this if we can't do it, now. But if we can't, we can't.
Yeah, I feel like Fion would be like, Molly, I understand your hesitation, but not everything lines up perfectly. We just got to deal with what we got to deal with. We'll do it if and when we can.
But we gotta do it, even if it's not today, we gotta do it as soon as possible.
I agree. I just feel like, and we're just staking out right now. We're not actually going to do anything until we have plenty of time to plan.
Okay, I was wrong. Reincarnate takes an hour to cast anyways, so yeah, I guess we can't do it today.
I'm thinking we just get access to the body afterwards.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to.
So what's
Are you staking out with us, Molly?
I guess not, because there's no reason for me to be there, and if I can't, if people who can see or my wild shape can tell who I am, and they have a chance of being able to do that because they're dragon people. And I'd rather not risk getting you guys caught, I guess.
Okay, well, do you mind if I borrow the eye to see if I can identify who's dragon, who's not? Make notes?
Absolutely, please do.
Sweet, thank you.
All right. So you all split up a bit. Molly Mort staying back, presumably with Irini at her house.
Yeah, and I'm gonna hang out with Zild.
Zora, yeah. And Fion goes around the sort of base of the structure and the walls, and just keeps an eye out on guards to see what's going on there. And Ormus finds a quiet little corner.
Oh, actually, I'll give the eye to Fion since he's the one watching the guards. Better idea.
All right. Fion, you have an eye of true sight, so yay. And Ormus, you dimension door up on top of the roof. And as you step out, you see two guards on the roof with you.
I didn't see them before?
You weren't on the roof before.
I figured from doing it 200 feet away and I looking at the roof I'd see it, but okay.
You can't see on top of a roof that far away, man. You got to be above it or even with it, or you can't necessarily see on top of it from below it.
That's fine. That's fair. Okay. Do they seem to see me?
They haven't seemed to notice you. They're looking kind of out. They look to be archers that are kind of just chilling on top of the roof, just looking out at the city. And you being just kind of inner on the roof, they don't seem to see you. Yet.
Did not expect that. Can I back up back into my door? Go back?
I'm pretty sure Dimension Door is away. But let me check. Let me be sure. I gotta read it. You teleport yourself from your current location to any other spot within range. You arrive at exactly the spot desired. It can be the place you can see, one you can visualize, or one you can describe, etc. You bring along objects along the way. You can also bring one willing creature, etc. The creature must be small enough, etc. So, if you would arrive in a place already occupied, potentially damaged, you just appear there, and yep, you're there now. And you had a range of 500 feet. You got there. It was a place that you could visualize, and you appeared on the roof. No damage taken, and you are now here, standing there quietly. They haven't noticed you, and we'll hang on to that for the moment.
Oh no.
Okay.
You are simply there. Lee,
Oh no.
after your goat has caught up with you and Philbin is there, do you want to go back to the town? What do you want to do? Where do you want to go?
Oh, I'm going back to the town.
All right. Y'all begin the. Do you take the boat at all, or do you just leave the boat?
I'm going to take the boat. I'm going to take the time to corral the boat and take it back with us.
Okay. With Philbin's help, it's certainly pretty easy. You essentially just can tie it to the lobster while you and your goat swim, and you're very easily able to make your way back towards the shore, and you essentially find yourself crawling up. Do you want to go to the docks or to another beach?
I'll just crawl up on another beach.
Okay, you crawl up on a very similar beach to the one before, arriving a little bit after sunset, basically having spent almost the entire day soaking wet and just not. It's not been a good day, and you're still exhausted and so
yeah. I'm dead tired.
yeah. Philbin essentially just, just rest, relax. He starts getting some driftwood to try and make a sort of a semi bonfire, and
Is,
just lets you do nothing.
is the town nearby still?
Oh yeah. The town can be as near as you want it, but Philbin's not sure. He's just like, okay, we're here. I guess this is as good a time as any to just spend the night. But it's up to you. You can say no. Let's go to the town or whatever.
If there's I don't remember. Did I notice if there was like an inn or anything in town? Because I wouldn't mind spending the night in an inn.
Yeah, you did not take the time to cite, but you certainly could.
I think I'm gonna drudge into town and see if we can find like a base of operations, like an inn.
Okay. Yeah, you are able to find an inn. It's called the Bear and Wolf. And, I mean, y'all stink of the sea, which is not too unusual here, so that's not so. And, you can see that this part of the town, it's okay. It's a decent enough place. It's a 2-story sort of partial tender, partial kind of mud brick, same as most of the others. And as you come in, you can see it's decent. It's got some, wrought iron tables and chairs, and it's kind of weird. There's actually a lot of hammocks around. You don't know if that's just a thing. Like, there's tables and chairs, but there's booths with hammocks. Anyway, it looks comfortable, is all I'm saying.
It looks cozy.
Yeah. Anyway.
As a side note, I don't want to leave the boat at the just on the beach. Would it be possible for me to tie it off at the dock? If we came back to the beach, maybe I could walk around to the dock and tie it off.
Yeah, you certainly could have just, from the beach, relaunched and kind of paddled it away, or got it back to the dock and tied it off.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put the boat back where I found it, or
Okay.
rather up with it, and I'm gonna drudge off, and I guess I'll go up to. This place does sound really, really nice. It actually reminds me of a place I went once as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I'm gonna see who I can ask for a room.
I mean, you can certainly go up to what is presumably the innkeeper, as a fellow that seems to be storing. He's bringing out, kind of various meals to individuals. He seems to be hustling and bustling. This place, oddly enough, for many taverns, doesn't have a bar, but it does have, accompaniments, etc. And there's a small stage, presumably for performers, although no one is performing. But this seems to be the only person that you can readily identify is an employee. And it's a half-elf, an older fellow. He's got a steel dagger on his belt, but other than that, is just wearing common clothing. And he's bringing various cups and loaves of bread and some sausages in.
I think I'll shuffle in, and I'll go ahead and just sit down at a table, just kind of like slump at it, and try to get his attention.
Philbin, comes in and puts basically just kind of puts the broom on the ceiling. Well, no, I think on this particular one, he would probably, and he doesn't want to draw too much attention to it, so he just comes in as he normally would, and sits along with it. Do you bring your goat in as well?
I think the goat follows me in, but I just kind of like stumble in, shuffle in. Obviously, like I probably look like a zombie because of how clammy and shuffly I am.
As you sort of barely drag yourself in, the goat following, the innkeeper points to your goat and says, "I'm sorry, but your animals will have to stay outside."
I turn to my goat and I say, "Sorry, girl, not right now."
We have good accommodations. There's plenty of bedding right on the side.
Do you have a stable?
He says, "No, but it's covered."
Okay. Uh, so is there a place I can bring my goat?
Yeah, he says, yeah, around the side. You know,
Okay.
as he pointed.
My
If
bad.
you,
I misunderstood.
it's fine. Yeah. Do you want to go out with your goat, or just have your goat just go out?
Uh, honestly, my goat doesn't need to be tied off, so I'll just like you go over there for now.
I figured as much.
Okay. Yeah. I guess it's a self-driving, self-parking horse car goat.
Essentially.
And I'll be like, yeah, I'll take a room. I look at Philbin. Do you wanna get 2 rooms, or do you care?
Philbin just shrugs and takes out his flask, as he occasionally does at the end of a long day.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's been that kind of day. Yeah, 2 rooms and 2 meals, please.
yeah, the innkeeper says, "Oh, right away, bring you the specials," and he kind of, waddles off about the quickest that he can, leaving you amongst a decently populated area. Whatever they're drinking is kind of a bright yellowish liquid, and the whole room just smells kind of bitter, but it's not so bad. And the sausages, you can see, are steaming, and the wheat, or rather the dark wheat of the bread, looks to be, you know, fairly glutinous and crunchy. And overall, it's probably going to be a good.
That
And
I'm
soon
jealous.
enough, he brings out you basically just like some sausages and bread and a couple of mugs of this not entirely pleasant liquid,
Uh-oh.
but it's like I said, it's a bit harsh and bitter, but
The
um,
Yellowstone?
yeah, it's like, imagine like a kind of a warm, spicy lemonade that isn't very sweet.
Okay.
Like, it's probably a regional acquired taste.
Ah, okay,
It's
okay.
like some combination. Like, you can get some sense of, like, there's definitely some lemon in there, some grapefruits. Like, it's some kind of a spiced fruit drink, and it doesn't seem to be alcoholic. But yeah, it's one of those things. Like, after a couple of sips, it kind of grows on you. Like, it doesn't feel good at first, but afterwards, whatever aftertaste is actually fairly pleasant.
It makes me think of this one, just from description, this one time I tried grapefruit lemonade, and it was actually
Hmm.
pretty
Yeah.
good, but it took a couple of sips to get used to it.
Yeah, like, it's at first it's just like, what in the world is that? And then after two or three, you're just like, could be worse. Could be worse.
Yeah,
I think yeah, I think Lee is just very relieved to have a good meal, and a nice, comfortable, cozy place to be, and just kind of soaks in the warmth and comfort of the place.
Hmm.
Tries to regain some of his mental, emotional, and physical strength.
As he, brings everything over, he kind of, holds out a bit of a hand, and he says, "It's 9 copper for the meals," and he's leaning in quietly. It's like, it'll be 9 copper for the meals and 3 silver each for the rooms. 9 copper each for the meals.
Yes, of course. I'm sorry. Pardon my rudeness. I will shuffle around in my bag and pull out a gold and just put it in his hand and say, "Will this cover it?"
He looks at it and he nods and he says, "That'll just cover it." And then he pockets it and goes off. Lee, if you do the math, you know that was way more than good enough. But anyway,
Well, it was let's see, eight total, and the rest of it was just a little tip for him.
yeah, it was still more though. Like, you could have gotten.
Oh,
Well, anyway, but yeah, he in fact continues to still bring you. Um, he's pretty quick on the refills. He brings you several mugs of this liquid as you're going along, and but yeah, he seems to take care of you, and you're able to get yourself a room and a nice long rest if you so desire.
oh yeah, I sleep hard. I also use the room to like store my saddlebags and stuff, so they have like a place to be. But basically, I'm going to store almost all of my equipment in the room.
Okay.
So I don't have to
problem.
carry it around with me for the time that I'm planning on spending here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm planning on trying to stay around here for a little while, see if I can figure out how to get the net.
Exactly. Got to get a net.
Yeah, I'll take that long rest and get up bright and early the next day.
All right. You take yourself a long rest. So if you move too far, almost at all, you're pretty sure these guys are going to hear you. I mean, they're paying attention. The roof doesn't seem like it's made for stealth, but you're pretty quiet. You think you can handle it. What do you want to do?
I'm sorry. I
How
was
close am I to the
confused.
ledge behind me?
Yeah, I completely switched gears on you, Lee. Sorry.
No, that's fine. I just figured you'd probably say like Ormus,
No. I just immediately switched. What are you doing, Armus?
Hold on, let me get
How
my
close?
neck brace.
If I look behind me real quick, how close am I to the ledge?
I mean, in terms of feet, pretty close. Maybe another 20, 30 feet or so. Like it's a wide sort of building.
as close
But
as
are you talking the ledge to the inner side of the, or to the other side of the building?
The like basically where I came from.
From where you came from?
Yeah, so kind of just like behind me, but
To-
like 20 something feet.
Well, hang on. To like when you term in terms of where you came from, do you mean from where you teleported from?
Yeah.
That was several hundred feet away.
No, the ledge, like that's behind me. So if I look behind me, as if I walked through a door, dimension door, and I came up, I was on the roof, and I look behind me, like how close would I be to the ledge?
To the ledge of the roof of the building you're on?
Yeah.
Okay. It's about 20 or 30 feet to the inner ring, and then much further to the outer ring. Like, not even halfway. Like, really far. Well, I mean, somewhere in the neighborhood of about 80 to 100 feet or so. If not a lot more.
Okay, I was expecting to be closer to that. Okay, I'm gonna cast polymorph real quick to a hawk or any kind of bird that's around here.
Okay. Yeah, you can turn into a hawk. Hawks are pretty much everywhere. So, yes.
Ooh, what kind?
Yes, what kind?
Yes, that kind. Yes.
The kind I'm thinking of?
Huh?
The kind I'm thinking of?
Yes.
All right. You turn into a hawk.
Kind everybody is thinking of. Now, pretty much just have to pray that they don't hear me and that they're not dragons and fly away.
Well, let's see here. They hear you speaking the words to cast polymorph. Turn around and see a humanoid shape in the darkness turn into a bird and begin to fly away. They don't seem to be dragons, but they do knock arrows at you as you attempt to fly. Let's see. Polymorph, I believe when you polymorph, you take the beast's AC.
Okay.
Is that correct for our shape-changing friends?
I believe so.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
You get all their physical stats, but keep your mental.
All
when
right.
you use polymorph, you get their mental stats as well. So you pretty much are the animal with all their stats.
Oh, okay.
But-
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but you have your sort of intention, right? You can still choose to fly, and if I recall correctly, or am I wrong on that one?
No, that seems right.
Let me double check it to be sure.
I mean, you have the bird's intelligence, so you might not think on whether that's a smart idea or not.
You still retain your personality, etc., but you have now an intelligence of 2. But I think flying away was what you wanted to do, and flying away seems like a good idea, seeing as how they're trying to kill you. So you have an AC of 13. You were able
And,
to.
hit point up.
Well, let me ask this too. In terms of you being able to fly, your fly speed is 60 feet. So I'm guessing you're going as fast as you can away.
Oh yeah, 120.
Okay, fantastic. Still well within the range of their bows. So your armor class is 13. They have a
Yep.
+5 to hit.
Oh,
Uh,
that's gonna hurt.
That's a 7 + 5, so that's only 12. Let's see if the other one hits. And that's a 16 + 5, so 21.
Oh, yep.
A hawk has 1 hit point. So you're about 60 feet above the ground, about 100 feet away or so.
Well, I wasn't going straight up. I was going straight back.
Well, yeah, but you're on a building that's 60 feet above the ground. I assumed you were going
Yeah,
horizontal.
Okay. I thought you meant like up.
And
I was like, that's gonna put me 120 feet away.
a
Oh,
hawk's
boy.
instinct would have, I assume, be kind of diagonal. But I'm giving you the benefit of a doubt that your hawk would be smart enough to go horizontal. But even then, you're still 60 feet above the ground, and you are now you, Ormus.
Yep. Yep.
You have moments before you hit the ground. What would you like to do? I'll add too, Fion. You can see, everything's going calm. You're kind of just looking around, and then all of a sudden, you see a bird, which doesn't seem like much, and then all of a sudden, you see some arrows, and then the bird turns into a humanoid form, and you instantly know what that is. But what would you like to do, Ormus, while you plummet towards the earth?
If I have a moment, I have one more spell, and I have such a thing that can get me 500 feet away from here.
It is entirely possible that you might be able to do it. Do you have anything that you could do as a reaction? Because unfortunately, you take falling damage when it occurs. But I'm giving you a reaction if you have anything that you can do. Like maybe feather fall.
No, none of that.
Okay. So
But if it's pretty much like going through a door, I'd be like on ground level if I'm not going down yet, or if I've only traveled like 10 feet.
well, no, I mean you only have I'm given the opportunity to use a reaction if you have a reaction.
Yep. I don't think I do. I have bonus actions.
Yeah.
Vector, polymorph. Yeah, nothing as it.
I would just like to
Well, if
say
they were
I would have liked to have waited half an hour after I left these guys. Then I would have liked to have scry on them to see how they're doing.
Okay.
Also, I'm trying to figure out why Thomas was on top of this building.
Well, it happens. Ormus, you take 27 falling damage.
Well, I was gonna ask, would it be possible to say that I'm close enough that I can use my reaction to like try and dive and catch him, like catch and roll with him?
It is so incredibly unlikely that with him flying 120 feet away in a random direction, that you happen to be 120 feet away.
Okay.
Okay, how about this? Roll a D1000, and if you get a 0, or if you get like a 1 or 1,000, then like it's the odds of that are so low.
Like I was fine, but I kind of want to just see what it would be now. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Well, okay, you roll a D1000.
Yeah, it's a 572.
Well, hang on. Now I'll roll a D1000. Same number.
Yeah. Coming.
This is Discord if possible.
Nah, he takes a huge amount of damage.
Nice.
Well, see, I only asked because I didn't catch that he flew that far away before falling, so, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
So, like, why was he up there again? I don't remember why he was going on top of the building.
Because that's so he could hopefully see into the balcony for the king.
Yeah,
okay,
begin the stakeout.
Yeah, but the king being paranoid, and this being the fortress, there were 2 archers on the roof, and yeah.
Everything is falling apart now. Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah.
I'm sure the guards won't be suspicious about a shape-changing individual. But anyway, we will pick this up next time with Ormus having taken, I think, 27 falling damage.
Yes, sorry guys. The one fucking time that and I come inside of the house after driving, my sister comes over and decides to talk to me. Like,
It's fine.
now,
It's fine.
it's
Now's a good stop. Good place to stop anyway. That's fine. So yeah, you take what was it? 26, 27, something?
27. Yep.
Yeah, 27 falling damage, and we will pick it up next round, or essentially next time, with quite possibly the beginning of a manhunt in the City of Hope. All right. So everyone good next week, or how are we looking?
Should be good.
Yeah, it should be.
I'm good.
Okay.
I'll try to actually get Discord working on my computer.
Exhaustion?
Yes, you're cured of exhaustion, having succeeded in a long rest, Lee.
Well, I still have one level, right? Or am I?
To my understanding of it, is it goes all the way entirely.
Really? I mean, I'll take that. I'll definitely take that.
Let me see here. Let me be sure. Oh no. Let's see.
Not even with my
Remove exhaustion. A short rest. Hang on. I'm checking to see here. See. A long rest removes one level. Yeah, it might be that it's only one level. So you'll have disadvantage on ability checks, but your speed isn't cut in half.
Not even with my paladin fortitude.
Unfortunately, not. Not unless you use some kind of, healing magics. I mean, lay on hands does not do anything for exhaustion.
I don't have greater restoration, so I can't do that.
Yeah.
We're all good though.
Yeah. All good. Nothing terrible is happening. All fine. All fine.
Luckily, all they saw was a freaking humanoid. That was it.
Yeah. It was quick enough and dark enough. They are humans. They can barely see. So all they saw was a dark humanoid form that turned into a bird, and then turned into a humanoid again after being hit by an arrow. Which, we'll see where that goes. Anyway.
Yay!
Yeah, indeed.
See you guys later.
See ya.
Have a great rest of the week.
Hopefully we'll get some Algern action in next time as well, and we'll figure out what in the hell he is doing out in the ocean.
Yeah. Punching Morningstar.
Well, if you recall, he was on a sinking ship with a Morningstar crew. So...
He punched him hard.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's a lot going on good for some of these side quests.
I'm trying real hard.
I mean, you gotta put yourself, in terms of, it's not necessarily to say that there's nothing that can't be done, but you gotta make a good enough argument that literally this is, the most important thing in the world to this guy. And you're a stranger that walked up and was just like, hey, trust me, I need this thing. Ugh.
To be honest, I literally don't know what else I could have done, but me not knowing what I could have done doesn't mean much,
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what you could have done either, but I'm not going to say that there was nothing done. But I don't know.
I feel like I'm starting to get through to him a little bit. At least Lee does, and I do a little bit because I'm hopeful.
I do too.
I think Lee's persistence, annoying, upbeat persistence will eventually wear him down.
It's entirely possible.
Oh, I mean, I even returned his boat.
You did, assuming that was his boat.
Well, I returned it either way.
Yeah. And that's good. And he certainly didn't seem to want to kill you.
Yeah, that was nice. See, I know he's not evil. Otherwise, he would have killed me. Or
Hmm.
tried to.
But he also seems fairly okay with letting you die.
I think he's just putting up a tough front.
Yeah, probably.
That's what Lee believes. Lee believes he's good of all people.
Hmm. Nothing bad has ever happened because of that.
Yeah, especially Ormus. He believes completely and totally in the good that is in Ormus.
Hmm. Just laughing in my head so much about that. Just the fun of that argument. I'm the bad guy here? Oh, because I burned down one church, and all of a sudden, uh,
Morality.
that reminds me of an old dirty joke. It's just so good. Just silly. Burn down one church. Now everyone thinks I'm evil. Oh well. But yeah, this is an interesting one. You guys are being much more meticulous in trying to plan out the murder of this king. Like this is surprising how careful you're being. It's kind of fun.
Well, like, to be honest, it clicked to me that like it's canon that Fionn is an ex-hitman, at the very least an ex-bruiser. Like he would he would go about this in the most careful, plotted way he could possibly, you know.
Well, we've always been one for planning and very careful, meticulous planning. It's just almost never worked out for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We spent 2 hours planning something and then immediately doing it, and then nothing goes right.
Well,
Because
that's Dungeons and Dragons.
that is just Dungeons and Dragons. Like, so we do usually plan. It just never goes our way. I doubt this will be any different though.
Hmm.
It all comes up to the luck, and the luck tip is not usually on your side.
Generally, no.
Yeah.
Alright, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get off here and get to editing this.
Alrighty.
Alright. Adios.
Alright,
Later.
guys.